Hey, all right, and so welcome to part two. This is when we're going to go ahead and go over filling out the actual application. All right, so I created a sample family here, and we're just going to fill out the application for them. So, real quick, all right. So we're just picking up where we left off in the slides, okay, in the last video, and so here now at the end of the presentation, okay, you're here, you closed, okay. And you said, so did you want to start with what the program recommended, or did you want to put in a little bit more and get a lot more protection for your family? All right. And so here we now closed them. They said, yes, okay, I want that. Great. Okay, perfect. So now that they want that, all right, a big important thing about this too is that, don't talk yourself out of a sale, okay? If they say yes, great, let's see if you qualify. Where were you born? Because that's one of the first questions that's asked on the application. And so you then just go straight into it, okay? And so what I'm going to show you real quick is essentially that submit button that we just saw is also known as the point of no return, okay? When you click this button, it should be if and only if they bought the policy. They said yes, okay? Only if you close them. Do not touch that, whoopsie. Do not touch that button, okay? All right? Unless they said yes, all right? And so again, if and only if they bought, okay? Because by hitting that button, you are now exiting the presentation, which is all of this. Okay, you're exiting that and you're going into the application. Once you hit this button, let me just reemphasize this. Once you hit that button, you cannot go back to this, okay? You cannot go back. So that means if you need to do any changing of the coverage here, upselling, downselling, whatever, if you need to change these things, anything in the amount column, you can change. You can make it higher, lower, etc. So we go over that in closing. You can click on it, make it 25,000, recalculate. Does that make you feel better? No? Recalculate, okay? And you just use the same process as you downsell. You want to have made all your changes at this point. This is the closing screen, okay? So any changes that you want to make here, do it here at this point. You do not want to need to make any changes once you've hit the submit button because you cannot go back, okay? Very important, all right? And so because you cannot go back, all right, make all your changes here. And that means that if you do need to make any changes, those changes are what they are saying yes to, okay? And so that's what you closed them on, all right? And so since that's what they said yes to, then that's what you hit submit on, okay? Great, let's see if you qualify where we're born. All right, so now the subject of money, okay? The subject of money and or how to pay for the plan is extremely important. If it's not handled properly, it will cost you many sales. This is in your script. When to talk about the money and how to talk about the money is critical. If the client asks for specifics, okay, meaning if they jump the gun, if like at this point or any point before you get to the section on the application where you ask about bank info, if they jump the gun and ask, well, how do I pay for this? Okay, then we want to wait until we get to the bank info section of the app before we address it, okay? So that's why this is saying, hey, if they're jumping the gun, all right, and they're saying if they ask for specifics, then you could just say, oh, we have many different options. Let's make sure you qualify first. Then proceed with the app. Just keep going. Where were you born, etc. If they ask again or what those options are, then say you can pay annually, quarterly, or monthly. Then proceed with the app with your height, weight, etc. Okay? And so this is a screenshot of page 1 of the application, which we'll go into in a second, okay? And so we're gonna go ahead and look at the application, okay? So this is page 1, it shows coverage. The coverage section should automatically fill in from the offer screen. So this is the offer screen. So in the application, you'll see where it already pre-fills in, all right, everything that they just bought, okay? Everything that they just closed on, All right. So all the details of the final expenses, income, mortgage, and college, you'll see it, okay? It'll auto-populate in the application when I get into it, okay? It says always double check to make sure it's correct, proceed to all pages, and complete every section in blue. All right, so let's go ahead and do that right now. So again, do not hit this button unless they said yes, okay? Unless they closed. Very important. And the thing is, you want them to say yes. So whenever you hit that button, that's a good thing. That means you made a sale. Good job, okay? So that's good. That's important. All right, cool. So now, did you want to start with what the program recommended, or would you like to put in a little bit more, get more protection for your family? Oh yeah, we'll go with that. Perfect, okay? So let's say they go with this plan. They're happy with the premium. They said yes. Perfect, great. Now, great, let's see if you qualify. Where were you born? You hit submit, and you're gonna see it will take you out of this presentation and into the application. You cannot go back. So remember, this is a point of no return, okay? All right. Also, when you hit the submit button, that is also when it will track your metrics to say, you made a sale. So that later on, when you're looking at what is your average close ratio, what is your average, referral size, what's your average sale size, etc. Okay, John and the other managers in the office, they look at your stats. Okay, and whenever you click that button, that's gonna send a stat saying sale made. Okay, so you do not want to mess up your metrics. Okay, because it helps you for them to be accurate. You do not want to be clicking that button and you didn't really make a sale. Okay, so only hit that button if you made a sale. All right, so now let's hit submit. Great, let's see if you qualify. Where were you born? Poof, presentation gone. Now we have the application. All right, so we see the screen right here. All right, it says applications super combo. That's the name of the application, okay? We cannot go back into the presentation. I cannot go back into the office screen, okay? Super combo, that's the name of the application. Let's go ahead and fill it out. Double click. And it loads. Great. Now, you turn the screen to face you. The client should not see any of this. The client should not see this, all the application paperwork, okay? Why? Because we just want to keep questions limited. You're turning the laptop to face you and you're just typing, okay? So this is an example of, great, let me just handle all of the details. Click, 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 okay? I mean, it's not like they can't, but it's just not ideal. Also, they don't really care. They don't want to have to, what's that? Oh, what are all these questions and stuff like that? Like, you don't want to open a can of worms, have to answer a bunch of questions. That's unnecessary and just overcomplicating it. Why? Because they saw the application. They don't need to see any of this, okay? So just turn the laptop to face you and you start filling this out, okay? By the way, at this point, now, when you're filling out the application, okay, then talk about anything but insurance at this point, okay? You're just asking them questions and they're answering, okay? You're asking them what's their birthplace, what's their height, what's their weight, what's their social, what's their driver's license. And in the midst of that, now be building more rapport, okay? And so as we're filling out the application, make it fun for them, okay? We don't want their last experience of you to be asking them all these like boring old bitty questions, okay? We want their last experience to be exciting, to be happy. So basically just talk about anything but insurance at this point. Talk about their hobbies. Talk about, hey, so what are you guys doing for the rest of the day? Oh, that's awesome. Great. So what's your birthplace, please? Okay, perfect. Oh yeah, no, I love that park. I love taking my dog there. It's really, really beautiful. So what's your height and weight? Perfect. Thank you. Yeah. Is it really good for kids too? Oh, wow. Awesome. Oh no, I've never tried the pizza place that's nearby there. Great. What's your social? See, so I'm integrating the rapport building and the filling out of the application, okay? That way it's not boring, okay? Don't be boring, all right? You handle the details. They don't need to see any of this, okay? So let's go ahead and fill it out. And then you, at home, practice filling it out. All right. So first things first. All right, cool. So we see here, we've got on the very top, we've got affiliation, okay? So this is where you would type in, if they're a union member, you would type in what union they're with, Union 123, or the International Brotherhood of Teamsters Local 407, okay? Or if they're a referral, type in referral. If they were Child Safe League, type in Child Safe, okay? If they're with the credit union, you know, what's their credit union? Navy, you know, Navy Federal Credit Union. Probably put CU. There you go. So that's what you put. First things first, top right-hand corner, affiliation name, okay? So let's say this person was a referral. Yeah, all right. Great, so they're a referral. And then this next section right here, okay, right there, that is also another way to mark which type of lead they were. Were they a union lead, okay? Then you mark that one. Were they a credit union lead, association, VPRIV, I honestly don't know what that is. Senior, GL, Globe Life. So Globe Life is our sister company under Torchmark Corporation. So Torchmark Corporation owns 5 life insurance companies. AIL is the most profitable one, okay? So there's American Income Life, Liberty National Life, Globe Life, Union Heritage, and like another really patriotic sounding one. I don't remember what it's called. But there's 5 life insurance companies, and AIL is the most profitable one. Globe Life Insurance is another life insurance company that they do everything through the mail. They don't have field agents. And so what that means is that sometimes they get leads, but they do everything through the mail and then they never hear back from a client. So then they say, here, AIL, you guys try. And then we go work that lead, okay? And so that's what Globe Life is. So sometimes we get leads from Globe Life Insurance Company. They do everything through the mail. All right, so there's Globe Life. POS, that's Policy Owner Service. You'll be working policy owners later on when you're a little bit more experienced, okay? So right now you're just focusing on learning how to write new business, okay? When agents are a little bit more experienced, then you'll have the opportunity, when you know a little bit more of the technical aspects of servicing a policy, then you can start working policy owners, okay? So that's POS, Policy Owner Service. Referral, child safe, discount card. There you go. So since this one is a referral, I'm going to click on referral. Great. There we go. All right. As you can see, their names have auto-populated there. And so what we can see too is that they are each given a letter. They're labeled, okay? And so we see Jack Sparrow is A. So he is proposed insured A. All right. Elizabeth is proposed insured B. And the children are C1, C2, etc. So that means anywhere on the application where there's an A, okay, that means Jack. Anywhere on the application where you see B, that means Elizabeth, okay? And so you'll see that the background of the spouse is shaded, okay? See that? So because the background of the spouse is shaded, everywhere where there's a shaded background, that means spouse. Driver's license, that's a spouse's one. Occupation, that's a spouse one. Employer's name, that's a spouse one. Beneficiaries, that's a spouse one, okay? So wherever there's a shaded background, okay, then that means they're talking about the spouse for that entry, okay? All right. So next, this is easy to miss. I saw. You are marking here whoever it is that you physically saw. Not phone call, not seen a picture of, someone that you physically saw in person, okay? You mark whoever you saw. You have to have seen all of the adults because they have to be there to consent to insurance, okay? That's important. So you have to have marked that you've seen all the adults. However, the children, you may or may not see them. They might be at school. They might be at grandma's house, whatever. You may or may not see them, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and say that we saw Jack and Elizabeth, and let's say, you know, Isabel was at home, but little William was at school. Okay, cool. We see their dates of birth are pre-filled in for you, their ages, and then now you just ask them for a birthplace, okay? So, Jack, where were you born? Remember, that's one of the first questions on here. That's where we're saying at the close, great, let's see if you qualify. Where were you born? All right, so we can see here, birthplace. We first see all of the states in alphabetical order, and then after all the states, we've got a bunch of countries, okay? Lots of countries in alphabetical order. A very common one that we see is Mexico. There you go. There's Mexico, so that's a lot of our clients here born there. Philippines. There we go. Lots of different ones. And so you just mark wherever it is that they were born, okay? Let's just say for the sake of this example, they're all born in California, okay? So everyone's California. Great. And you're just typing in their heights and weights. Okay, great. So Jack, what's your current height and weight? Oh, I'm 6 feet tall. And I weigh, I don't know, 195. All right, Elizabeth, what's your height and weight? Oh, I'm 5'6", and I weigh 145. Cool. And then William, he's 6. All right. Now, sometimes parents may or may not know their child's height and weight. That's why in your sales Bible, okay, that you will be issued, there's actually a page in here that, check it out. It says the average physical measurements of children, and it has their ages there, and then their inches in height, and then their pounds in pounds, their weight in pounds, okay? It goes up to age 12. Then, you know, usually, I mean, kids start just growing into whatever shape, size that they are. So this is just as a guide, okay? If the parent knows what their actual height and weight is, or if you can tell, you know, work with the parent, like if they're slightly larger than average, smaller than average, just use this as a guide, okay? And just come up with the best answer together with the parent. So we're just going to use this as the example for little William Sparrow, 6 years old. In your sales Bible, it says that the average height is 46 inches. Right, so I click there. It says feet/inches. So I can put 0 in the feet, 46 in the inches. Close. Weight, 47 pounds. Cool. You're often going to notice that for a lot of children, especially like, you know, small children, oftentimes their length in inches is almost about the same as their weight in pounds. Interesting. All right, and then we got Isabel. Says she's 4 years old, okay? And so it says 40.5 inches, okay? So then I'll put 0 in the feet, and then say, it doesn't let me do 40.5. It doesn't let me put 0.5, so I'm just going to say 41 inches, and then 36 pounds. There you go. Perfect, there you go. Sweet. All right, great. So that's the height and weight. Now we got everyone's height and weight. Great. Next, we have, see, male and female, that's already pre-filled in for you. NTU, that means non-tobacco user, okay? Saying, here, I'm just going to emphasize that. NTU, okay? NTU means non, okay, tobacco, so clear. User. All right, so that's what that is, NTU, non-tobacco user. Okay, cool. See, NTU. All right, NTU, non-tobacco user. How did it know that they're non-tobacco users? That's already pre-filled in there. How did it know? Oh, back in the survey when I first asked them if they're a tobacco user or not. All right, cool. All right, moving forward. So now we see here socials. All right, social security number. Top one is for Jack. Bottom one's for Elizabeth. Okay, and so here, so Jack, what's your social security number? Okay, I'll just type something in there. Now, when you're practicing, okay, eApp knows that the first 3 digits of a social security number are a location code. So you can't just type in for practice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to pop up as fake. It's going to know, hey, no, that's fake. It's going to come up as an error, okay? So just practice with like anything that's a real first 3 digits, okay? It's very smart. All right, so that's his social and then her social. All right. You don't need the children's social at this point. 3, driver's license number and state. Okay, cool. So driver's license number and state, just ask them to pull out the driver's license, okay? You need to picture verify them anyway. And so I just make fun of it, you know? I just say, oh, hey, you know, well, I I believe you are who you say you are, but I do have to check your ID. Okay, do you have your ID? Great. Perfect. So take it from the spouses, okay? And again, ask them their height and weight. Do not copy it from their driver's license. Just know it's likely to be inaccurate. But then go ahead and type in the driver's license number and the state, okay? Don't forget the state. You must type in the state, okay? Sometimes I see people, they just type in a driver's license number, and then they just keep moving forward. No, you got to type in that it's California, okay? Otherwise, it will pop up as an error. All right, so just so you know, all right, eApp also knows the formatting for all the different license numbers, okay? So it knows that for California, it's a letter and 7 digits, okay? So if I type in Georgia, all right, if I type in the wrong state and I put in a California driver's license number, then it's gonna know that that's an error, okay? And so it's gonna pull that up as an error and you won't be able to move forward when you're trying to progress in the presentation later, okay? So just make sure that that's correct, all right? So in California, it's a letter and 7 digits. Go ahead and for practice purposes, just make something up, okay? There you go. F 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1, California. So get his and hers, all right? If they don't have a driver's license, but they have a state issued ID, you can use that number. It has the same digits. All right, so now, person to be owner of the policy. All right, so for the person to be owner of the policy, ta-da, then there is a couple options here, okay? Proposed insured A, which you will most likely be clicking most of the time, okay? That's the one you're gonna use, all right? But if they decide it to be somebody else, like grandma, click this one. Other, name and relationship, and then you'd have to type in grandma's info, okay? So it's gonna be Grandma Sparrow, okay? And then, her, her social, and then grandma, okay? Now, that's if she's to be the owner of the policy, okay? These people are the insureds. She would be the owner, okay? And then somebody else could even be the payer, okay? Owner, insured, payer could be all 3 different people, or they could all be the same person. Like, for example, what I am going to do is I'm going to have Jack be the proposed insured A. I'm going to have him be the owner of the policy. And he's also an insured, obviously. See him listed there. He's an insured. And I'm going to make him the payer. So all 3 of those could be the same person. Just remember, the insured, the owner, and the payer, okay? They all have to be there to sign, okay? Children who are insureds don't have to be there, but adult insureds have to be there. Owners have to be there so they can sign. Payer has to physically be there so they can sign, okay? So keep that in mind. All right. Question 5. Occupation/duties, okay? When you click on it, you're going to notice that there is a little drop-down menu here. Oopsie. All right. Yeah, so there's a drop-down menu. And so let me just say, don't do it. It's a trick, okay? Don't click on any of those. Because the thing is that, honestly, none of those are good options. All right? Disabled, okay? That's not good for life insurance. And we mean medically disabled, like incapacitated, like they cannot, it completely affects their activities of daily living, okay? Not just, workers' comp, I tweaked my back at work and I have 2 weeks off and I'm getting paid for it, but otherwise I'm very healthy. No, that's not what we mean by disabled, okay? Retired, student, and unemployed/none. It's not bad being retired. That's fine. It's just that usually people that are seniors are retired. And if they were seniors, then we would be on the senior application, which is not this. This is the regular super combo. And in another video, we discussed the senior applications. It's different. On there, it makes sense to label someone as retired. On this one, it doesn't. Now, unless they might be retired. They might just be young and retired, okay? What I would do in that situation is just type in like what their job was, or like what did they do for a living, or like, what, I just type in something, okay? Because the thing is that by selecting these, student, unemployed, none, we're going to kind of have follow-up questions. It's like, okay, so how are you going to pay for this type thing? That makes sense? All right. And so just saying, it's just ideal to be writing that they that they are having a job. Okay, cool. So great. So next, so let's just say Jack Sparrow he's a pirate. Okay. All right. I don't know. He is a teacher. Why not? He's a teacher and he works with San Diego Unified School District. If you wanted to, you could type it out. San Diego USD. And then Elizabeth is a florist. There you go. And she works at Bees Flowers. All right, next. Address of the owner of the policy. All right, we just type that in. He lives on 321 Black Pearl Road, San Diego, California, 92107. That's Ocean Beach. All right, question 8. Phone numbers, phone and cell. Always get 2 phone numbers, okay? Always fill those in, okay? 2 phone numbers, 2 of them. It could be his and hers. It could be home and cell, whatever. Just pick 2 phone numbers. The more ways that we have to contact them, the better, okay? Because just in case if something's wrong with their policy, that's urgent stuff, okay? People don't want to be walking around without insurance, and we had only 1 phone number for them, and then they changed it, and we have no other way of contacting them, okay? Always get 2 phone numbers, okay? So just go ahead and type those in. All right. Email address, okay? Email address, jack@sparrow.com. If you select NA, then it says here, you selected NA for the email. Please provide a reason why they do not have an email address. Applicant doesn't have an email account, or applicant would rather be contacted by phone or regular mail. As the agent, I have asked the applicant for their email address, and for the reason noted above, the applicant does not wish to provide an email address. If this is not true, please fill in their email address on the application. Okay, and there it is. We send them confirmation emails and stuff. All right, cool. Now, beneficiaries. Okay. So what we can see is for A and B, it allows us to give them beneficiaries. This is because for the children, unless they're getting their own policy with a whole life, and that's what we call the Head Start program, which is addressed in a different video, then a child rider itself, they don't get beneficiaries for that. The parents are, just automatically. They're the beneficiary. All right, so A. All right, so who is A again? That was Jack. So who is Jack's primary beneficiary going to be, okay? Most likely Elizabeth, but you have to ask, okay? Because they might want to make it somebody else. But do ask. So, Jack, who would you like your primary beneficiary to be? Oh, it'll be Elizabeth. Great. Put first and last name, okay? Relationship to insured, wife. Contingent beneficiary, we'll make it William. Child. Now, when it comes to children being beneficiaries, I always like to I like to explain to the client that if for whatever reason the child is still a child when they are to receive the benefit, okay? Remember, so contingent is just in case if they cannot pay it to the primary beneficiary because, Jack and Elizabeth died in the same car accident or something. Now they have to give the money to the contingent beneficiary. And so if something like that should happen, okay, I do open up the option for them that If the child is still a child and they're supposed to receive the benefit money, okay? Children don't receive life insurance benefits, okay? What they do is they put that money into a trust, okay? So they take whatever X amount of dollars it is, they put it into a trust, which is remain untouched until the child turns 18, then they can access it, okay? So that's very important. And so for that reason, the client may want to keep their child as a beneficiary, or they might want to take advantage of this other option, okay? They might say, hey, well, if me and my wife both die in the same car accident, well, it's going to be my sister that's going to be taking care of the kids. So I'll just make the contingent beneficiary my sister, okay? And that'll be Mary Sparrow, okay? And that's a sister. You have to type that one in. That's not in the drop-down menu. Yeah, great. And so then now we got Mary Sparrow there, okay? So there's that option, because then you make it the sister, and then later on when little William does turn 18, then you can change the beneficiary to be William. Does that make sense? Okay, so I just want to make sure that that we get it. And so let's just say that for right now it's Mary, and then, you know, later on they might want to make it William when he's 18. All right, excuse me. All right, so next we've got then now B, that's Elizabeth. So who's Elizabeth's primary beneficiary going to be? Most likely Jack. All right, so we put Jack Sparrow, husband. All right, and then the contingent beneficiary, she'll say, okay, you know, if both of us pass away, I want the money to go to my sister, okay? And then her sister's name might be like, I don't know, I'm just going to make this up. Jacqueline, I don't know, Myers. All right, cool, and that'll be sister. Or whoever, her mom, or they could make it the child, but do ask them. You always have to ask, okay? All right, so hopefully that beneficiary part is understood. Great, now we're gonna scroll down some more. Question 11. Okay, we're gonna look at this section right now. Question 11. Is any insurance applied for intended to replace or change any insurance or annuities in this or any other company, okay? Replacing is always no, okay? No, 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 no. We never replace, okay? So here we click on no, always, okay? We are never replacing, okay? Our plans are supplemental, okay? They complement what you already have. When you told us what you had in your needs analysis survey, okay, your existing coverage, we developed this plan around that, okay? So it's not to replace that plan, it's just filling in the gaps, okay? We are never going to be replacing, ever, 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 okay? You are not replacing. There's ethics, implications there, that making sure, okay, well, how do we know, in the interest of protecting the client, the state of California is just very deliberate on if something is going to be replaced, if you're going to try to cancel another life insurance to replace it with a new one, then you got to make sure that it's the best thing for you. That's the right thing. And this is to avoid agents taking advantage of people saying, oh, cancel that and buy this instead. So we just don't deal with it altogether because there's additional paperwork that has to be done with that. And then you got to notify the other company that you're trying to replace. And then they get first shot at trying to save their own client. And then nothing's, it doesn't get approved, et cetera. And so we don't even feel like dealing with it. Okay. So you will never be replacing ever, ever, ever. Okay. So this question will always be no. Okay. No, 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 no. All right. Also, okay, when it comes to that, if someone does see that what they're getting from you, they believe it to be better than what they have, if they do want to buy this and they want to cancel their other one because they don't want to be paying two policies or whatever, okay, understand, remember, we're not the ones that are going to be doing that, okay? That's on them. If they want to go cancel another policy, that's on you. We're not telling you to do that. We didn't design this plan to be replacing that, okay? But that's up to you as a client. They have every right to do so. What that means, though, is we're still not replacing. We're not replacing, okay? And the client should understand this is not a replacement policy. So if they want to cancel another one and get this instead, ultimately what's most important is I always tell people, if they even give me this inkling, which most don't, why? Because I don't replace, okay? Is that before you ever cancel any existing policy, make sure you get approved for this one first, okay? Before you cancel any other policy, make sure you get approved for this one first. Does that make sense? The last thing you'd want to happen is you're not approved for this one, you go cancel the other one, oops, and then you get declined for this one. Now you have no insurance, okay? So you do not want to put any client in that type of situation, okay? And so we're just going to leave that as no, and that's always going to be no, okay? And so moving forward, okay, let's keep going. All right, so question 13, it says, is the proposed insured a U.S. citizen? Okay, we're going to say yes, but one of the things to understand about this is just like we saw in the right up here, the underwriting field manual or the height weight chart. This is where your flash sheet is, and where it says here, okay, immigrant not legally residing in the country of application. Remember, again, if they do have these three things, okay, number one, their ITIN number, okay, ITIN, two, an ID, okay, a U.S. ID, an official ID, three, a U.S. bank account, U.S. bank account, then yes, they can get it, okay? You can insure them, all right? So just keep that in mind. You are able to do that if they have those three things. All right. So we're just going to say yes, they're a citizen. Do you wish the automatic premium loan provision on your life insurance policy/policies? Yes, always. What that is it kind of works like overdraft protection on your life insurance. Like if for whatever reason we are unable to draft out of your bank account for your premium, then instead of just lapsing it on you, then we will take a loan from the cash value. We'll borrow from the cash value to keep it alive, and AIL will notify the client, the client, and the local agency office. So the local agent, okay, will be able to know. That way, client knows, the local agency office knows, the local agency office could find their agent to communicate with the client and to be able to see what's going on, how can we fix it, okay, if we're unable to draft premiums. And so it still keeps it alive, but essentially, it's just a simple thing to fix usually, because more often than not, the reason why we're unable to draft a premium out of their bank account is because they forgot that they switched bank accounts and forgot to tell us, okay? And so all we have to do is just call them up, say, okay, well, what's your new bank info? Great. Get that new bank info, routing number, account number, and then just apply that, and then we draft from there. Everything's fine. So that's an easy fix, okay? But at the very least, they their policy was able to be kept alive, all right, because we were able to borrow from the cash value. So that's why it's called the automatic premium loan provision. I just always click yes. Okay, I don't even ask them. I just click yes. Why? It doesn't cost anything and it only helps. All right, next. 12, amount of insurance on each proposed insured. So here it populates with any life insurance that they had outside of work, okay, with us or any other company. So in the needs analysis survey, if they had any life insurance outside of work, it would pop up right there. And so said that they have life insurance with, $100,000 each. I've never really seen the need to type in the company, except for essentially when they do have existing insurance, you could just go ahead and type, what company do they have that with, MetLife or whatever, AAA. Who knows? Okay, so you could just type that in there. Okay, it will auto-populate with what they already have. If they don't have anything, you just leave this whole thing blank. Okay, so that's fine. Next, okay, so scrolling down. Now this next section right here, that kind of looks like a hot mess. Okay, this whole thing right here. All right, we're gonna go ahead and make sense of it. Okay, this is where it auto-populated the coverages, okay? And so this first section, this is all proposed insured A, okay? This is Jack Sparrow's policy, okay? This shaded section with the shaded background, that's proposed insured B, that's Elizabeth. And then this is where C1 and C2 would pop up if they had their own whole life, okay? If they had their own Head Starts. That's where that would populate, okay? And you can see how in the Head Start video that it will address that the coverage amount is typically for $25,000 of coverage, okay? And so $25,000 of coverage, it's whole life. Head Start is whole life. So it would look like this. C1 would be circled. Then here, you type, it would pre-populate with, there we go, $25,000 of coverage, and that's the premium, and they would have the guaranteed insurability option and the terminal illness rider. There you go, okay? This is what it would look like already pre-populated for you if the child did have a Head Start policy, okay? But in this case, we're not gonna have any children have Head Starts. Also, in this case, that's where you can see, when I scroll up, now it allows the child to have beneficiaries. See that? But it will only allow the beneficiaries if they have their own life insurance, okay? A child rider is not their own life insurance. It's riding on the policy of the primary. Jack Sparrow's policy, it's riding, so it's riding on it. Riding on it, that means that, again, something happens to the original policy, so does the rider, goes away. And so, well, essentially, that's actually a reason why we don't make eApp provide spouse riders, even though we do have them, okay? We just make eApp give the spouse their own individual policy, okay? So that way, if she had a spouse rider, okay, she'd be riding on his policy. Something happened to him, so does her policy. And so we just give her her own policy, all right? And so a child rider is riding on the primary's policy. All right, and so that's why, let me uncircle C1, okay, because it was child rider, and now the beneficiary thing disappeared for the child. All right, so let's continue, okay, back to the coverage amounts. Okay, so I just explained the child one, okay, so that whole section, that's for the Head Starts. Child 1, Child 2, Child 3. All right, any additional children, they would be on page 3, okay? And so if you look at that, it's extra kids. Child 4, Child 5, Child up to 9 children. And that's where you could type in their coverages. Look at that. So many kids. All right, let's go back to page 1. All right, so now we're just going to focus on Jack and Elizabeth here. Okay? Right there. So we've got here, it actually shows who is circled, okay? This is A and C. Why? Because this is A's policy, Jack Sparrow's policy, and he has a child rider on it. That's why C is circled. That's the child rider right there, okay? On A's policy. All right, so A and C are circled in this policy. All right. So over here, only B is circled. There's just B. A child rider can only be on proposed insured A's policy, okay? And so B, this is Elizabeth's policy. As you can tell, there's a shaded background. That's proposed insured B, okay? And so what it shows us here is that in this particular example, okay, it shows us first the base plan. That's this top part right here. That's the base plan, okay? What that means is that's the whole life. It auto-populated with the $25,000 of whole life for each of them. That's for their final expenses, okay? And it has the premium right there. Cool, huh? It auto-populated it for you so you don't have to deal with it. Don't touch anything here. It's done for you. Don't mess it up, okay? And so here, like unless there absolutely is something you need to change, you can do that here. But you want to have made all your changes prior to this screen, okay? You want to have done that on the closing screen, okay? Before you hit submit, before you hit the point of no return, okay? Make all those changes back there, because here it's just like messier. It's not as pretty, all right? So it can be confusing, all right? Until you have a much better understanding of it. So let me just show you something. So we got A and C circled here because this is A's policy with the child rider. The base plan for A's policy is the $25,000 of whole life, and that's the premium for the whole life, okay? Up here, what we see, this says whole life, preferred life, executive life, and select life. Those are all just whole life. They're just fancier names for whole life, okay? They are just higher amounts of whole life. Those are higher tiers of whole life, okay? Because the higher up you go in these different, we call them bands. There's a whole life band, preferred life band, executive life band, and select life band. They're all just whole life though. Those are just fancy names, okay? So they're all just whole life. And so that refers to higher amounts of whole life. Because the higher amount you go, you can actually, when you reach from one band to another, you get a price break. So it's like buying bulk at Costco, okay? The more you buy, the more you save. So typically, the whole life band is 0 to 30,000, okay, is whole life. And then preferred life band is like, let me see, something. Yeah, so preferred life is typically 30,100 to 49,999. Do you need to memorize this? No, I haven't memorized this for 6 years. Doesn't stop you from selling. The executive life band is 50,000, okay, to 99,999. It's just for your information, okay? And so that's the executive life band. Select life is 100,000 plus, okay? That's it. They're all just whole life. They're just referring to different amounts of whole life, okay? And so, all right, so now that we understand that, it already auto-populated, it already checked off the right one. So it already did that for you because it's $25,000. That falls under the whole life category. It will all automatically just do it for you, so you don't have to fill it in or anything. All right. So that's for the final expenses, okay? FE, final expenses. That's the whole life. Okay. Great. Next, riders and benefits. 10-year renewable and convertible term. For this family, okay, for him, the 10-year renewable and convertible term, that was $172,000. What's that covering? That was the income protection, okay? Income protection. The 10-year renewable and convertible term, okay, we use that for income protection. So you can see here, this was replacing X amount of years worth of his income. And then here, it just lines right up for her side too. So that's her income protection, $120,000 for X amount of years of her income, okay? So that's all the income protection. That's the 10-year renewable and convertible term, okay? Now, if they had accidental death benefit, okay, which is typically used for college or mortgage, okay, then that would be clicked, okay? It would look like this. You'd have accidental death benefit, and remember, there's a cap of $200,000 of accidental death benefit, right? So I can actually type in there $200,000, and there you see it's cost $16.67. Cool. Awesome. Add that for her too. That's the cap. You can put anything, $150,000. Okay. It won't let you do more than that because if I tried to put $1 million or whatever, reach the maximum number of units and then it brings you right back down to 200,000. Did you see that? I try to do 5 million, pops up, exceeded the maximum number of units. Okay. So just brought it right back down to 200,000. All right. So, but Just gonna uncheck it. I'm just gonna leave it as it was because I'm not gonna mess with this, okay? You closed them on this. You can use this for upselling, okay? Because right now, since you can add stuff, you can make changes. Typically, I use that for upselling, you know, or for whatever reason you really, really have to make changes. But please, just don't mess it up, okay? What that means is know what you're doing, get familiar with this to know exactly what to click on, etc. And so mess with this at home, become familiar with it, but typically you're not going to touch it, okay? Well, eApp is going to give a proposal, and we don't want you to get all creative with it here. Do any changes before you hit the point of no return, okay? Do all of that on the previous page. All right. Next, B2000. That's like an old product that we don't really sell anymore, so you can ignore that. WP, that's the waiver of premium. Now, that's a waiver of premium for disability, okay? That's another upsell that you can use. The waiver of premium for disability, it costs money, but I like to describe it as insurance on your insurance, okay? Because what that is the waiver of premium for disability is if you should become disabled, medically disabled, okay, for at least 6 months, then we will, the first 6 months you still have to be paying premiums. But on the 7th month, we will start waiving premiums and refund you back all those first 6 months, okay? And we will continue to waiver premiums for the length of your disability, which could be the rest of your life, okay? And so that's why I call it insurance on your insurance. Just in case if you're unable to pay for your insurance, this will take care of that for you if you're disabled, okay? So there is an added cost to it. The cost simply depends on how much total coverage this person's buying, okay? All that stuff. So the more total coverage that they're covered with, the more that the waiver of premium is covered, so it's going to be more expensive. So if I clicked on that, it costs $10.57, okay? Whereas if I give waiver of premium on her, hers is just $5.89. See that? So that's the waiver of premium. And so I might say, oh, for an extra, $1.75 a week, you can add insurance on your insurance. Here's how it works. Do you want to do that? Great, upsold. There you go. All right, cool. Next, CIR, I believe that's a critical illness rider. Don't worry about that one. Spouse riders, never sold one of those in my life. Again, we want to give the spouses their own policies, okay? So very rarely, if ever, will you ever be selling a spouse rider. You probably won't be because eApp does not populate spouse riders. Again, I've never sold one. All right. So we got, so child rider, we've got, so child rider, $10,000. Child rider is always $10,000, okay? And so because that's the maximum, okay? And so you just leave that at, 10,000. That's per covered child, all right? And so child rider, per covered child. Great. So whether you have one child or 10 children, they're all covered for $10,000, and it's still going to be the one flat price of $6.25. It's not $6.25 each. It's $6.25, period, no matter how many kids they have. All right, this next one, T65, that's a term to age 65. Again, and very rarely will you ever be using that, okay? DT15, okay, that's the 15-year decreasing term. We use that for mortgage, okay? And so they have a mortgage with less than 15 years left on the mortgage, and so it's $150,000. There you go, DT15. There you go. That's how much it is. T20, okay. This one, in this particular case, it was used for college education. That's a 20-year level term, okay. And so T20 is a 20-year level term. They had 2 kids, and so for college education, it recommended $100,000 each. And so there you go, $200,000. For each of the children. So, each of the children is $100,000, or a total of $200,000. So that's what these are. That's what all these are. And they all line up to the spouse one too. So they're all in there. And so you're able to just, click it and add it to this, to the spouse as well. Look, I'm just messing stuff up now. All right, cool. So that's what you're doing there. All right, cool. So, so now hopefully this stuff, the more that you play with it, the more familiar you'll be with it. So all of this, hopefully it doesn't look like such a hot mess anymore. It's just to be able to help you understand. This is where the coverages pop up, okay? Now, let me just point something out here. The reason why I want you to be careful in making adjustments here is because, check this out. I'm going to use the spouse as an example here. If you start clicking around, okay, you might accidentally clear the coverage. Then you'll have to retype it all in. So if I'm clicking around and I'm over here, I'm at B, and then I go from whole life and then I click on executive, look what happens. Oh my God, it just cleared out all the riders. So if I had anything down here, it's all gone now. See that? Her income protection's gone. And then I clicked on executive, which is $50,000 minimum. And there you go. So, excuse me, as you're moving up and down the bands, it'll automatically, it'll tell you what's too much. It'll put you in the right band. So if I wrote $100,000 here under whole life, click on it, it says exceeded the maximum number of units. Then it puts me at the maximum, 30,099. Okay, let me go to preferred life. If I went under the amount of units, if I write 15,000 under preferred life, click there, it says failed to meet the minimum number of units. And then it puts you down to the minimum, 30,100. So it just does that for you in all the different bands. Executive life, you know, 75,222, that falls under executive life. But 75,222 failed to meet the number of units minimum for select life, click OK. It brought me up to 100,000 because that is the minimum needed to be in select life. And then you can just write however many hundreds of thousands you want. Okay, 200,000, 154.25. And then as you can notice too, they have price breaks in between. So check this out. For preferred life, 49,999 is the maximum, right? And the premium is $55.71. So if I clicked on executive life and did 50,000, look, the premium is even less. So sometimes it benefits you, the client, to go up to a higher band. Again, that's just kind of like another way to, you know, you can get them more insurance. It's a slight difference, but it's a difference for sure. All right, cool. So let me rebuild back what she had. So she had $25,000 of whole life. Okay. So again, that was just to point out that if you start clicking stuff, it'll clear it. Okay. I have to click terminal illness rider. That's what this is. TIR. That's a terminal illness rider. That's in your script. And then here, the income protection. She had 120,000. Oopsie, for income protection. There you go. All right. And so I had to rebuild it manually, okay? So that's why you don't want to be just clicking all willy-nilly. You might mess something up, okay? Same thing if I unclicked the B, if I uncircled it, everything clears. See that? And now she doesn't have beneficiaries. Check that out. So now I have to add her. Then now those little things turn out in blue. Then I got to rebuild it. Whole life, 25,000. There's a premium terminal illness rider. Income protection, 120,000. All right. So now I got that. And now I'm going to have to give her beneficiaries again, okay? Jack Sparrow, husband, and then, what was it? Jacqueline Myers, sister. There you go. So now I have to give back her beneficiaries. Make sense? So all this section right here is just the coverage amounts. So play around with that, mess around with it. Become very familiar with it, feel empowered. All right, let's scroll down. All right, so next, this next section right here, accident insurance policy, cancer insurance policy, hospital indemnity insurance policy. This is the premium right here, right there. And then this whole section right here, okay? All of this stuff right here, you would need your health insurance license to sell these plans. Critical illness, you need your health insurance license to be able to sell that. And we don't make you get that here. So you might later on, or maybe if you already have your health insurance license, you might later on ask your mentor about how to sell these, but we don't cover that here in this class. Why? Because we don't make it necessary. We just want you to be to become familiar with our bread and butter, which is the life insurance, okay? And so all this stuff, ignore. You do not need to click any of it. Just forget about it, okay? All that stuff right there, just bye-bye. See, I'm just making your life easier for you. There you go. See? Gone. Cool. So then what you do want to go over is, okay, so the next one says, I've received an outline of coverage. This is in reference to those things I just crossed off, so you could forget about that one. Let me actually just clear this up a little bit. That's questions 15, 16, 17. So let me just clear that out by, oopsie, just like, all right, whatever. So I'm just like trying to like erase this without like covering up the things I want to see. All right, cool. There you go. Good enough. Whatever. All right, so then questions 15, 16, and 17. All right. Question 15 is in reference to those things I just erased, so you can just forget about that one. Question 16, you do want to answer. Does proposed insured have a Medicaid eligibility card or otherwise eligible for benefits under Medicaid? Title 19, yes or no? Okay, just ask them that. Yes or no, okay? If so, I'm just gonna, in this case, I'm just going to click no. Nope. And then number 17, age 65 and older only, okay? See, this question doesn't even pertain to you if you're on this application. This question used to be there before we had our own separate senior application. So, so because of that, all right, you don't even need to deal with this one. Now that there's a separate senior application, this question will never apply on this form. So don't worry about that one. So just answer question 16. All right, next. So we've got mode premium. This is just telling you this is monthly bank draft, and that's the price for a monthly bank draft. Annual bank draft, quarterly bank draft. Do not use these bottom three, okay? So we either do monthly, annually, quarterly, bank draft only, okay? So that's that. All right. Now we're all through with all that. Now we're at the bottom. Great. Oopsie. So now that we're at the bottom, this is the bank info, okay? Authorization for pre-authorized payments. Depository name, so that's the bank name, city, state, transit ABA number, that's the routing number, account number, type of account, checking or savings. Make sure that that's correct. That way they'll be able to pay you, okay? They'll be able to draft it correctly and they can pay you. All right, you don't want there to be any mess ups with payment. And then requested draw date, if any. So now that we're at the bottom, okay, now is when you talk about the money. All right, so let's talk about the money. All right. So we just went over the coverage section. Always double check to make sure it is correct. Proceed to all pages and complete every section in blue. So monthly bank draft. So now we're at the bottom. All right. So here we're at the bottom. So here's what you say, okay? This is on your page 8 of your script, okay? There are different options to take care of the payment. The most popular option is to pay annually. This way, you avoid any additional monthly bills. You pay for just the first year today. Notice the verbiage, just the first year, like it's very light, like it's no big deal. Oh, just the first year. You pay for just the first year today, and you don't have to worry about this again until next year. See how simple it sounds? Did you want to pay for the first year today? So practice that verbiage, okay, and say it right, all right? If no, then say, the other option is to pay monthly or quarterly. This option is done by EMT. That's electronic monthly transfer. Just like when you swipe your debit card at the supermarket. And I physically do this. I will physically swipe at them, okay? I will do this because why? People are used to doing this. People are used to swiping their debit card at the supermarket. They're used to swiping their debit card anywhere, places. This is non-threatening. So I'm likening this to this, which they do all the time anyway, okay? So notice the verbiage, and I even do this. Oh, so it's just like when you swipe your debit card at the supermarket. There you go. On the same day of every month or every 3 months, the funds will be transferred safely and securely from an account of your choosing into your new account with us. Okay, again, notice the verbiage. Transferred safely and securely. We're not saying we're drafting. We're not saying we're taking it. We're not saying we're withdrawing. We're not saying we're taking your money. We're not saying stuff like that. We're saying, oh, it will be transferred safely and securely from an account of your choosing into your new account with us. Does that make sense? So practice that verbiage. It will be transferred safely and securely from an account of your choosing into your new account with us. That way it doesn't sound like we're saying, oh, we're taking your money and putting it in our pocket. No, okay? So be very, very deliberate about your verbiage. Learn this, okay? Do it the right way. So, did you want to do that through savings or checking? Most members prefer checking, okay? And so, tip, the draw date should always be the day of the month that you are there. So if today is the 4th of August, then the draw date will be the 4th of every month. So check this out. So at the very bottom, draw date. So let me actually just pull something up real quick. For all of us here, I wanted to just make sure that we understood, that we understood when it comes to the premium. Let's actually just go ahead and look at it in your script, okay? In your script, it's on the bottom of page 8. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and pull it up for you. The bottom of page 8 is where it says what to do in regards to the premium. Okay, let me pull it up. There we go. All right, cool. So, perfect. So this is bottom of page 8. Okay, and so you see, we just said, great, did you want to pay for just the first year today? If no, the other option is to pay monthly or quarterly. This is done by EMT. That's electronic monthly transfer, just like when you swipe your debit card at the supermarket. On the same, okay, yeah. Did you want to do that through savings or checking? Most members prefer checking. If checking, then have them write a check to American Income Life or AIL for their first payment. That way, when they're writing a check, okay, they feel like they're making payment. They feel they're giving you the check. They feel like the money is going. So they feel like they're making payment for something. Okay, that way they don't feel like they're just writing a fake check or something. Okay, so they feel like they're making payment. Void the check. So take the check because you need it for the routing number and the account number. So take the check and void it. Okay, just write a big old void on it all across the check. Just a big old void. Void the check and explain that the money will be transferred in the next 24 to 48 hours. So understand that the initial premium is always immediate. It's always within the first 24 to 48 hours, meaning that the first premium won't be next month. It's going to be now, okay? That's what we consider immediate payment, all right? Explain that the money will be transferred in the next 24 to 48 hours. If savings or checklist checking, then have them get their most recent bank statement to get their account number. Again, make sure they know their first payment will be transferred in the next 24 to 48 hours, okay? So you want to make sure you get that right, okay? Because for a insured to be covered right now, we must receive payment right now. And so for life insurance, they're covered as soon as they sign the application. So as soon as they step out, they're covered legally. Okay, so what that means is we need to receive payment, and us accepting the routing number and the account number is considered receiving immediate payment. Okay, even though it won't actually get transferred until 24 to 48 hours. Okay, now it is 24 to 48 business hours. Okay, so if you're writing it on Friday, it's not going to draft over the weekend. It'll probably be drafted Monday or Tuesday. Okay. So understand that just so that they know exactly when are they going to be drafted, okay? So that's very important because you have to transmit your applications every day, all right? And so when you transmit your application, all right, then it's within 24 to 48 working hours, business hours of you having uploaded it. Okay, cool. So we understand that part. Okay, great. So next, let's go ahead and fill it in then. So now they gave you the check, and so now that's where you can copy down this information. Depository name, Bank of America. City, San Diego. Remember, make sure that that's correct because Bank of America in Southern California is going to have a different routing number than Bank of America in Kentucky, than Bank of America in Northern California, than Bank of America in Virginia. Make sure you have the city and state correct. Otherwise, we cannot correctly draft. Okay, San Diego, California. Just make sure everything is right. Double check, triple check everything. Okay, and so next, transit/ABA number. That is the routing number. You find that on the bottom of the check. Now, also check this out. In your handy dandy sales Bible, you also have a location where we have listed out for you, all right, a lot of the more common routing numbers. Routing numbers, San Diego. Check that out. So we got Bank of America, Bank of Southern California, Chase, Citibank. We have like all of them here, okay? These are all the more common ones here. U.S. Bank, Wells Fargo, they're all here, and there's their routing numbers and their phone numbers, okay? So all you really need is their account number because you have the routing numbers for everyone here in Southern California, San Diego area. That's also, again, why you need to have the correct city and state, okay? Now, most of these routing numbers, they're pretty regional. So most routing numbers in California for one bank may be the same. In fact, they may break down California to Northern California, Central California, and Southern California, okay? So they kind of break those down. So Southern California Bank of America will have one routing number. Northern California will have a different routing number. All right. And so in here, after a while, you just start memorizing them. And then, they're in your book, but really, like, after you've been doing this for a while, then you kind of get to be familiar with them. And so Bank of America here, I know is 121-000-358. Okay. So then when you click either tab or click to the next field, look at this. It's asking you to enter the text again. It wants to double check and make sure you typed it in right. Okay? So type it in again. Double check and make sure it's right. And it's all stars here, so you can't cheat. Okay? 121-000-358. See, if it's inconsistent, if I typed in 357, it'll tell me. Oh, values do not match. Okay? 358. Now it accepted it. See that? So make sure that that's correct. Account number. So account numbers are usually around at least 9 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Come on. There we go. Great. And then same thing. When you click on tab or any other field, it'll ask you to enter the text again. Make sure it's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's another point too, okay? When we do our drafts, okay, AIL has this really awesome tool. It's called telecheck, okay? What it does is before it drafts from the client's bank account, it will check to see if there are funds in the account, okay? Before it'll draft. That way we don't cause a bunch of issues with them being overdrafted or whatever, okay? And so that's a good thing, okay? So it'll catch that before it does that to the client. Also, okay, then it will check to see if that account is closed. It'll check to see if that account is invalid. It'll check to see if that account is frozen. Telecheck is brilliant. It helps you and the client so that the client is not overdrafted or whatever, or it can actually see, this isn't a real bank account. We need to get current information for a real bank account, okay? Now, telecheck works best when the digits of an account number are at least 9 digits or more, okay? At least 9 digits. So if they have a smaller bank, like a credit union or something, and their bank account number is 1, 2, 3, 4, then just go in the front of it and enter in the zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that make sense? So just make it be 9 digits long by entering in the extra zeros, okay? So that's what you want to do with account numbers that are less than 9 digits long. This is for the sake of telecheck, okay? All right, just to keep it consistent. All right, cool, moving on. So type of account, checking your savings. Again, this must be accurate, okay? Otherwise, they won't be able to draft correctly. Everything's going to be messed up. You can't get paid. And who wants that, right? So click on checking, okay? Just make sure that that's correct. And then requested draw date, if any. Okay, so requested draw date, that's a misnomer. It's not requested. You tell them, okay? Here's when it is. Whatever today's date is. Just like it said here. The draw date should always be the day of the month that you are there. So today, the number date, okay, that you are there. So if today is the 4th of August, then the draw date will be the 4th of every month, okay? And so here in this example, today is the 21st. Okay, so I'm going to type in 21. There you go. That's it. You tell them that, okay? You just let them know, hey, because today is the 21st, then after your initial premium, then you'll be drafted on the 21st of next month, and the next month, and the next month, and the next month. Okay, great. And just keep moving forward. Okay, just tell them. Don't ask them. Don't say, oh, is that okay? Okay, so it'll be drafted on the 21st of every month. Is that all right? No, just tell them. For 95% of people, that's going to work out just fine, okay? Because they understand, oh, okay, well, I guess that makes sense. I'm making my initial premium, and it's paying for, 1 month, so it makes sense that my next premium will be in 1 month from now. Cool, all right? So for 95% of people, that makes sense, okay? So you're not asking, oh, is that okay? No, you're just telling them. Since today is the 21st, it's going to be on the 21st of every month. There you go. That's it. Move forward. Now, if and only if they say that they absolutely cannot do it on the 21st, okay? Don't give them this option, but if they say it, okay? If they say they cannot do it on the 21st, then you simply, okay, do have the flexibility to pick a date 7 days forward or 7 days back, okay? 7 days forward or 7 days back. So 21 through 28, that would be 7 days forward, okay? Or 21 to 14, that's 7 days back, okay? Why? Because here's the thing, all right? They're making initial premium right now. That's for 1 month, okay? If they pick a date that's after that, after 1 month or before 1 month, then now if they picked a date that's before 1 month, then that means we're going to be double drafting them in the same month, and nobody likes that. They're going to get mad. They're saying, oh my gosh, it hasn't even been a month. You're double drafting me again. No, it's because you chose a date that was less than a month. All the money, it all evens out. It just goes towards cash value anyway. It just adds more days towards lapse, obviously. So they're not overpaying. It all evens out, okay? But they have to understand, if you pick a date that's less than 30 days, you're going to get drafted on that date, okay? If you pick a date that's over 30 days, okay, then now that right there is eating into their grace period, which goes towards the lapse, okay, in their very first month. So you're already like working towards lapsing your policy already, okay? There's a grace period, so it'll keep it alive, but you don't want that. You don't want to be put in a position where, you want to avoid lapses like the plague, okay? People cannot be lapsing premiums, okay? That means they're going to be walking around without insurance thinking that they're covered, okay? So that's why you just do 7 days forward or 7 days back, all right? But ideally, just keep it at today's date. That's it. So because today is the 21st, then it'll be drafted on the 21st of next month as well. There you go. Okay? So just make sure we have the understanding. Don't even give them the option. Just tell them, okay? And so now we're done with page 1, all right? And so since we are done with page 1, all right, now we get to go to page 2. And it came up with a pop-up saying, based on your monthly draft date, you'll be drafted on 6, that's next month. Right now is May 21st, and then you'll be drafted on 6/21/2018. So it'll just tell you right then. Remember, you still have to remind them they have their initial premium now. Their initial premium now. All right, now we're on page 2. This is where all the health questions come in, okay? And so page 2, with all the health questions here, right, we're gonna go ahead and start with the right side, and I'm gonna go ahead and share with you why. All right, so Page 2, so we start off on the right-hand side. Okay, so this is all the health questions, okay? So these are all the questions that we ask the client about their health. We're just going to run through them together, okay? Legally, you must ask all questions as written, okay? Don't be paraphrasing. Don't do that. Read everything as written. And so what we want to do is we want to start with the right-hand column first. Don't read this one first. Read the right-hand side first, okay? Why? Because these are easier questions to wean into, such as had a physical exam, medical treatment, etc. Over here on the left-hand side, we're immediately asking them, are you an alcoholic, alcohol abuse, do you use drugs, cocaine, amphetamines, like stuff like that. So essentially, like you're asking, hey, so like, are you an alkie? Are you a crack addict? No? All right. And so always start with the right-hand side first, okay? They're easier to wean into. The more questions you ask, the more it builds trust, okay? So you just get into it and just keep going. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and go through it one by one, and I'm going to say yes to a few of these just so you know what to do when you hit yes. Whenever you hit yes to one of these, then then later on, a questionnaire for that question will pop up, okay? So so whenever you hit yes to one of these, a questionnaire for that question will pop up for you to furnish additional details, okay? Because these are just yes or no questions. But if you say yes to one of them, we need more details, okay? So starting from the right-hand side, has any proposed insured in the last 5 years had a physical examination, yes or no? And so, yes, even on a clean app where nobody has any health issues, this one question you do want to be a yes, okay? That yes, they have seen a doctor. Yes, they know that they're not sick and dying right in front of you, okay? Yes, that they're healthy and they're fine. Okay. Had any medical treatment, includes prescription medications? Yes. Let's say that Jack has high cholesterol, okay? Close. Been hospitalized? No. Now, typically if they say yes to any medical treatment, they might say yes to something else in the future, okay? So listen for it. Hospitalized? No. Is any proposed insured currently a resident in a nursing home or ever been diagnosed as having a terminal illness, including Alzheimer's disease? Nope. Has any proposed insured ever had or been treated for any of the following conditions? Asthma, emphysema, sleep apnea, or other respiratory disorder? Let's say yes. That little Isabel has asthma, so that would be Isabel, and then that's under respiratory disorders, not sleep apnea. So Isabel, respiratory disorders, click that, close. And then later on, that questionnaire will pop up. Ulcer, colitis, or other digestive tract disorder? No. Cirrhosis, hepatitis, or other liver disorder, or any blood disorder other than HIV, or received a bone marrow transplant? No. Kidney, prostate, urinary bladder, or other genitourinary disorder? No. Get used to, practice reading these because some of these are big words. All right. Disease of the breast, uterus, or ovaries? Nope. Rheumatoid arthritis or any other musculoskeletal disorder? No. Loss of hearing or loss of sight? No. Acquired immune deficiency syndrome, AIDS, or AIDS-related complex? No. That's totally uninsurable. When applying for other insurance, has any proposed insured ever tested positive for antibodies to the AIDS or HIV virus? No. Within the last year, has any proposed insured had unplanned weight loss? Unplanned, right? Like sickness. Unplanned weight loss, lymph node enlargement, or recurring fever, diarrhea, or pneumonia. So it means recurring, not you just had diarrhea once or something. What question 32 is really asking is, these are symptoms of HIV, okay? That's what it's asking about. And so probably this is, they probably were not officially diagnosed with it, but they have these symptoms. So that's what we're trying to find out, okay? So we're just going to say no to that. Does any proposed insured smoke cigarettes or use tobacco in any other form? No. How do we know? This question has to be consistent with what you got on page 1 up here. Non-tobacco user. They're both marked as non-tobacco users. So if you clicked, yes, one of them is a tobacco user, all right, then it'll come up as an error. They have to both be consistent. Change one or the other, okay, so that it's consistent. If a former user of tobacco, when did proposed insured quit? So you can write the date, you know, if they're a former user. Let's say that neither of them are former users. They never used it. Okay, so they're fine. Has any proposed insured used marijuana in the past year? Okay, so that'll be a yes or no. Okay, we're just going to say no here, but remember, later on when the marijuana questionnaire comes up, just don't click daily, okay? I mean, obviously be honest. If it's daily use, that means they're uninsurable. But if it's not daily use, all right, then, and they do use marijuana, you do want to mark them as a tobacco user, and then that will give them the correct rate, okay? I also point this out because how will they know? We often need to do a swab, and we're gonna talk about that later on. We have a video, okay, that is an oral swab training video. It's very simple. It's like a little lollipop, stick it in their mouth for 2 minutes, stick it in a vial, etc. And it checks for nicotine use, certain drugs, and HIV, okay? So it checks for those things. And so if you said no marijuana use, and then it picks it up on the swab, it's going to come back declined saying abnormal drug screen, okay? Just might as well be honest and then say how often it is. That's not daily for us to be able to insure them. All right, so we just did right-hand side. Let's go back up. Left-hand side. Has any proposed insured ever been treated or advised to be treated for alcoholism or alcohol abuse, including membership in AA, or been advised by a physician to reduce alcohol consumption? Yes. Membership in AA, Jack. Why? Because he had a DUI and, court said he has to go to AA, and so he's trying to do the best he can to do what court says. So, okay, he went to AA. Close. All right. Has any proposed insured ever used drugs not prescribed by a physician, such as cocaine, amphetamines, barbiturates, hallucinogens, tranquilizers, narcotics, or sedatives? No. Remember, if they had alcoholism and used street drugs, they have to be clean and dry from both for at least 5 years. We can remember that from our height weight chart up here. All right. Habits, miscellaneous drug, alcohol treatment, voluntary and still drinks for dry less than 1 year is all auto decline. And what is it? Yeah. Alcohol treatment, voluntary with any history of hard drug use, clean and dry from both less than 5 years, auto decline. So keep those things in mind, okay? All right. So we're going to say no. Has any proposed insured ever had their driver's license suspended or revoked because of a moving violation or been convicted, including driving while intoxicated or under the influence? Yes. That was Jack. So it's asking, this is, okay, let me just clarify something real quick, okay? This question, all right, has any proposed insured ever had their driver's license suspended or revoked because of a moving violation or been convicted, including driving while intoxicated or under the influence? So what is that asking? Nope. All right, so it's asking, okay, not just convicted of driving while intoxicated or under the influence, being convicted of anything. Anything. Not car related, not alcohol related, anything. Have you been convicted of anything? They should put a period right there. Including driving while intoxicated. So have you been convicted of I don't know, arson, grand theft, larceny? Have you been convicted of perjury? Have you been convicted of anything? Anything. So this one question is like an all-encompassing arrest question, all right? And so it's asking, have you been convicted of anything? Not just DUIs, not just license suspended or revoked, not just those things, but been convicted of anything. They must be honest, okay? Remember, it's important to have rapport here, okay? And so been convicted of anything. So make sure that the client understands that, okay? Because if you just read it, sometimes people might think, oh, do you just mean like convicted of driving while intoxicated? No, but they were convicted for something else. You've got to include that in there, okay? And so we're going to say yes because he has a DUI. And so there's these two options right here. It says arrested for other than DWI/DSE or arrested for DWI/DSE, okay? And so this is, so all the others, that is not DWI, or here in California, we call it DUI. You click on that one, okay, and just click whichever one applies, okay? If it's arrested for DUI, click that one, okay? Make sure you get this right. Practice this, okay? There's two, they're different. All right, so he has a DUI, so I'm gonna say Jack has a DUI, click on that one, close. All right. Has any proposed insured flown in the last 2 years or intend to fly in the future as other than a passenger on a scheduled airline? Other. So what's it asking? Are you a pilot, flight attendant, etc.? Okay. If so, if yes, then you would click yes, and then it'll have further questions like what are your licenses, how often do you go up there, etc. But in most cases, you're just gonna get a no. Okay, so we're just going to say no in this case. Has any proposed insured participated within the last 2 years or intend to participate in any of the following activities? Auto, motorcycle, or boat racing, parachute jumping, scuba, or skydiving? No. But again, if you say yes, a questionnaire, it'll ask you what is that thing, and then the corresponding questionnaire will pop up later, and then you'll have to fill it out to provide details. That way, they're trying to assess risk, okay? How risky of a lifestyle are you living? Not bad. This doesn't automatically exclude them. It doesn't automatically uninsure them. It doesn't make them uninsurable, but it does want to know the assessment of risk just in case they need to exclude that one thing, okay? So, for example, it might, for DUIs, what it's going to do is it's going to say, hey, we're going to cover you, but not if you die due to driving while drunk, okay? Because we already know right now you have a history of that. So we'll cover you for life insurance if you die with anything else, but not driving while intoxicated, okay? And so that's why it finds out, okay? Now, again, for knowing whether it's insurable or not, let's go back to the field. Yeah, the flash sheet. All right. When it comes to DUIs, remember, multiple is when it becomes issues. Okay. So one DUI, as long as it's not recent, then is usually fine. But when it's multiple, 2 DWIs in the past 5 years and the last within 2 years, uninsurable. 3 or more DWIs and drinking alcohol in the past year. Again, they want a year's worth of sobriety. Okay. Then that would be uninsurable. And so here, he might have had a DUI, but he only had one, so it's not multiple. All right. Has any proposed insured ever been advised to take tests and not done so, or not received the results, been diagnosed as having or received treatment for high blood pressure, chest pain, heart attack, stroke, or any heart, blood, or circulatory disorder other than HIV? Okay. Why is it phrased so funny? Ever been advised to take tests and not done so, or not receive the results, or been diagnosed as having or received treatment for? Okay. It's saying it that way because sometimes people might try to avoid getting officially diagnosed with something. Oh, but their doctor has advised them to take the test for it. And so sometimes people avoid taking the test for it just so that they don't get diagnosed, all right? So we're trying to cover all of our bases here. So here, sometimes a doctor may say, hey, you know what, your white blood cell count's looking really high. You're going to want to check this out. That could potentially be XYZ. But then that person doesn't do it. Why? Because they're trying to avoid getting diagnosed with something. That's why we're phrasing it this way. Have you been advised to take tests and not done so, or not received the results yet? Okay. Or been diagnosed as having, or received treatment for any of the following. So we're covering all bases here, okay? And so make sure that you're asking it the right way. Make sure they understand what you are asking, okay? So let's say yes. So when I say yes, it says who is it and what is it, okay? These all have their own questionnaires: high blood pressure, chest pain, heart murmur, heart attack, heart surgery, stroke, TIA, and then other. There's like other. So there's, an other one. So let's say Elizabeth has high blood pressure, okay? Close. Later on, we'll see the high blood pressure questionnaire, okay? Then next, High blood pressure and diabetes are two of the most common ones that you're going to come across, okay? So you'll become very familiar with them. Has any proposed insured ever had or been treated for any of the following conditions? Diabetes or other endocrine disorder? Yes. Jack has diabetes. Okay? And then there's your other column right there, the other. If you have an other thing. All right. Close. Paralysis, epilepsy, mental disease or disorder, or any other nervous system or brain disorder. And so this is an all-encompassing mental illness question. So if they have depression, click it. Anxiety, click it. Bipolar disorder, click it. Okay? If they're taking medications for anything, okay? For any mental illness, even if it's very light, even if they say, oh, I just take Xanax or I just take Zoloft to help me sleep, click it, okay? We have to document it. You have to document anything that they've been diagnosed with and any prescriptions that they're on. You must put it down, okay? So that's an all-encompassing mental illness question, okay? Paralysis, epilepsy, mental disease or disorder, or any other nervous system or brain disorder, okay? So when I click yes to that, it asks epilepsy, depression, and then other. Paralysis or other nervous system or brain disorder, okay? There's your other right there. So you just mark whoever it is. I'm just going to say no for right now. Has any proposed insured ever had arthritis or any injury or trouble to your back, knees, or joints? Sure, yes. Let's say that Elizabeth has arthritis. So Elizabeth, there's the back joint questionnaire or arthritis questionnaire. So again, any injury or trouble to your back, knees, or joints, you would click on back joint questionnaire and then furnish those details. If she has arthritis, click on arthritis. We'll do that. And now I'm giving them a lot of illnesses just so you can see what these questionnaires look like and you know how to fill them out. Really, once you've seen one questionnaire, they're all just fill in the blank. So questionnaires are very simple. You just fill in the blank. Just make sure you fill in all details on these questionnaires. And honestly, once you've seen one of them, you've kind of seen all of them. But yeah, we're just going to go over some of the more common ones. All right, so next. To the best of your knowledge and belief, all right, do you have any physical impairment or departure from good health? If so, give details. So basically, it's like, besides all this other stuff that's wrong with you, okay, do you have anything else that's wrong with you? Right, hopefully not. No? Has any proposed insured ever been advised to take tests and not done so, or not received the results, been diagnosed as having, or received treatment for cancer, tumor, or unexplained masses, okay? If you say yes, there you go, cancer, tumor, okay? You indicate there if they have or not, okay? So we're just going to say no in this case. Again, I think we have enough questionnaires that are going to pop up for us later that once you've seen one of them, you've kind of seen all of them, just make sure that they're all filled out completely. Do not miss anything. All right. Name, address, and phone number of personal physician. So remember, we see here the top one, it's a white background. So who is that? Jack Sparrow's doctor. And then bottom one is shaded background. So that's for Elizabeth's doctor. So notice too, name and address and phone number. So this long line is where you're supposed to write the name and address. Here's the phone number, date last seen, medical records number, okay? And so here, name, address, and phone number, okay, is Dr. Awesome at 123 Doctor Street, because that's where all the doctors are, San Diego, California, etc. All right, cool. What's his phone number? Type something in there. Date last seen was January of this year. And then medical records ID number, you get that from their medical card, okay? They're like health insurance card, Kaiser or Script Sharp, like, you know, whichever it is. You can also find it if they have any correspondence with them and their company and letters, you know, letters, mail, just look at it. It's usually in there. Or they can look it up online, okay? And so you just type that in there, okay? And then let's say, you know, one thing I want to point out here, you have to type in both the name and address. Don't forget the address, don't forget the address, don't forget the address. Too many times, you know, I see people just write, you know, Dr. Awesome, and check that out. It like populates. Dr. Awesome, and then like that's it, and then they move on to the phone number. Don't do that. Dr. Awesome, 123 Dr. Street. Okay. A good way to remember that is it's a long line for a reason. It's a long field right here for a reason. It must be their name and address. So do not forget that. Okay. And so as you saw, it auto-populated. So let's just say they have the same doctor and they went together for the date last seen. They want a little doctor date together. All right. Because they're romantic like that. And then that's her medical records ID number. Okay, cool. Next, down here, okay, city. That is the city you are currently in when writing the policy, okay? So here, in this case, we're going to write San Diego, but if you're in Chula Vista, write Chula Vista. If you're in Escondido, write Escondido. If you're in El Cajon, write El Cajon. So that's the city you are currently in when writing the policy. That's why it says at. Where are you at? Okay, that's where you fill that in. Okay, next. Agent statement. I certify that I've asked all the questions and truly and accurately recorded the information supplied by the applicant. To the best of my knowledge and belief, the insurance applied for is or is not intended to replace any insurance now in effect. Which is it? Is not. Correct. Is not. In fact, they're so serious about this replacing stuff, it's going to ask us like 4 times total in this whole application, okay? Just making sure you're not replacing, not replacing, not replacing. All right. Next, remarks or instructions. So down here, best time to call, morning, afternoon, evening, or all day. I don't know, say evening, 6 to 9 p.m. Pick one. Remarks or instructions. You're not often going to be using this field right here, not very much. You can use it if the children, okay, have their own whole life policy, they have their own policy, and they have their own doctor too. There's no space to write the children's doctor. That's where you type it here, okay? Children's doctor info, Dr. John, 321 Pediatrician Street. I spell it, probably. Pediatrician Street in whatever, San Diego, California. There you go. Children's doctor info, there you go. And then you'd write his phone number too. And then you can also write in here things like, for the death benefit, okay? You can say that the contingent beneficiary will be my sister until little Billy turns 18, at which point he'll be the contingent beneficiary. You can write that in there, okay? You can also write in things like, oh, he's not, if his weight on the height weight chart, is heavy for his height and he's like a bodybuilder, you can indicate that stuff there. He's not fat, he's just a bodybuilder, okay? This is your space to communicate to the underwriting department, okay? And so you don't use this all the time, but sometimes you may need to, okay? And so those are things that you can indicate in here as well. It says also driver's license number for children age 16 plus for separate life policies only. So that means, if they have their own Head Start program, if they have their own, their own life insurance, their own whole life, then we're going to want their driver's license number too, because we want to see, do they have any DUIs? Okay. We're going to check that stuff out. All right. So we'll just leave that there. Mail policy too. Agency or policyholder. Most all the time, you're just going to click on policyholder. That way they get their policy in the mail in a timely manner. If you send it to agency, then that means that the policy is going to be sent to us here at the agency. It'll be given to you, and you have to hand deliver the policy, okay? So that takes extra time, and you might forget, or we really don't want to leave it risking that a policy never gets to the client. So that's why most of the time you're going to be doing it to policyholder. However, certain times that you may actually want to have it delivered to the agency is, number one, for a really high premium like this. Typically, $321, that's a much higher than average premium. I like to show my face and, like, hey, here's your policy. Let me know. It's good customer service. Let me know if you have any questions. Here's my card again, and just remain in good standing with them. So that way you're not just a drive-by life insurance agent, okay? You want to build a long-term relationship with them, especially they have such a high policy. They're paying you a lot of money, all right? So you might as well treat them very well. And I might, want to deliver the policy. Do you have any questions? Do you want me to go over it with you? Customer service, okay? Also, if you've already planted the seed of upselling them, okay? Like say hey, so we're just starting off with you two right now. You said that your brother's going to be in town soon. So great. Hey, when I bring the policy, I'll just come deliver it and we'll add your brother to the policy. Like we'll sell him too. Okay? If there's anyone else in the house that you could have sold but they weren't there, great. Okay, so when I come back with the policy, we'll add them too, okay? Plant that seed. Okay? Plant that seed, that expectation that they're going to that they're going to add to the policy, okay? So that's another reason to show your face again, okay? Anytime that you go back to a client for whatever reason is another opportunity to upsell, okay? Or collect more referrals, all right? Anytime that you see an existing client, then that's always an opportunity to upsell or get more referrals. And so just because, normally with such a high premium, I would click on agency, but for an example here, since most of the time you're going to be, if you do have reason to go back and sell them again, then, you'd send it to agency so you can hand deliver it. But right now, since most of the time you're just going to be doing policyholder, just click policyholder, okay? We're going to do signatures later, right? It doesn't even let you do signatures at this point. See? Can't even click on it. Okay? So we'll do that later. All right. And so that's pages 1 and page 2. Like I said before, page 3 is just extra kids, okay? And so now the all of page 1 and all of page 2 is done, okay? And now what you do is this button right here, validate. The validate button is your friend, all right? It will tell you if there are any errors. So I click validate and it's checking for errors, and there are no errors on this form. Great, then you can move forward. However, let me just show you an example of if there are errors. Like if I forgot to type in the state for the driver's license number, or if I forgot to answer one of the questions back here, medical treatment, let's take that one out. Okay, and so if I had some stuff missing on here and I clicked validate, it'll tell you that you have mistakes. Look, there are 2 errors on this form, okay? So you click OK, and then you look for the X's, okay? You gotta look for the red X's, all right? So you scroll up and down looking for all the little red X's on pages 1 and page 2, okay, to find out where they are. Also on the bottom, it tells you what they are. It says question requires an answer. Double click on it, it took me straight there. There it is, the very top. Had any medical treatment? Yes, and I said it was Jack for his cholesterol or something. And then this next one, incomplete driver license information for primary. If the applicant does not have a driver's license, do not enter any driver's license information. Double click on it, it'll take you straight there. Bam, there it is, see? California. Then hit validate again. So just keep hitting validate until all the red X's are gone, okay? And until it tells you that there are no more errors. Perfect. So there are no errors on this form. Okay. Good. So now I hit X, okay? Now let me just point something out real quick. I typically, you see this, and you see this button, that's typically the maximize button, all right? It's a trick. When you click on that, it doesn't make the form any bigger. It just comes out here. And the thing is that you don't want to maximize it because, just keep it as a window like this. Don't maximize it. Why? Because when you do, you go over here to the corner, you see that the X for this window is dangerously close to the big X of the whole program. You don't want to accidentally X out of the entire program in the middle of filling out their application. Then you got to pick up where you left off. You got to then you got to go back into it, and it depends on whether it's saved or not. You don't want to create issues for yourself, okay? So do not maximize the window, okay? Just leave it like this. All right. And so now I can hit X. Now that I have hit X, okay, I gave them a lot of issues, to be honest, like alcoholism and like, you know, all that stuff. But so we have a lot of forms here because of that, because I did that. A lot of these forms here, you know, a lot of people are healthy and they're probably just going to have like one or two health issues. So there's going to be a lot less questionnaires here. But I did want to show you how to fill them all out, okay? And so now you see that Super Combo has little blue sunglasses, right? And so because there are little blue sunglasses there, okay, then that means now you got to go through all of them and you got to give them all little blue sunglasses. How do you do that? It's by seeing it. So that one has little blue sunglasses, and now you just start from the top. Accelerated death benefit. Double click on that. Accelerated death benefit, okay? There's nothing you need to do here except for scroll all the way down. And this one's for Elizabeth, okay? So there's one for him, one for her. This is Elizabeth's. State of residence, California. That's it, okay? Don't worry about this policy number thing because you're not adding to existing coverage. This is brand new coverage. So this is accelerated death benefit. What is accelerated death benefit? That's just another word for the terminal illness rider, okay, which is in your script. Accelerated death benefit is a terminal illness rider. And you already explained that to the client. So all you have to do is just scroll down. See, it's showing you how, you know, how you can take up to 50% of the, you can take up to half, you know, it tells you what half is, you know. So it tells you you could take half of the death benefits if you have less than 12 months to live. Okay. And so, yeah. If the insured is, yeah, definition of terminal illness, the insured is diagnosed as having an incurable medical condition that with reasonable medical certainty will result in the death of the insured within 12 months of the date the benefit is requested. Great. And then, you know, half the death benefit, etc. So that's what this is, where you see all the math in there. That's just telling you what half is, and that's a terminal illness rider. Okay. Not much you need to do there. Terminal illness rider. Also known as the accelerated death benefit. Why? Because it's a death benefit that's accelerated, so it's paid out to you before you die. That's accelerated, okay? Terminal illness rider. All you have to do is go down to California, just type in California, that's it. X. And now you have blue sunglasses. Good job. So now we're going to give them all blue sunglasses. So here's the same thing for husband. Accelerated death benefit for Jack. California, there you go. Alcohol exclusion rider, okay, alcohol exclusion rider. So here, we're going to open that up because that was for Jack because he had a DUI. So, Jack Sparrow, all right, the policy is amended as follows. So, you don't have to read this like out loud to them as long as they understand the gist of what this says. But I like to read this out loud to them because it's worded very well for the alcohol exclusion, driving under the influence. Our liability is limited by this rider. The limit is when the insured dies as a result of driving while intoxicated. Driving means operating any motor vehicle. Intoxicated means being under the influence of alcohol based on the law of the jurisdiction where the injury occurs. If death occurs as stated above, the amount we pay will be the greater of 1, the premiums paid, or 2, the cash surrender value. However, this rider will not cause us to pay more than if the rider was not in effect, okay? These limits also apply to reduced paid-up insurance and extended insurance. This refers to insurance created under the non-forfeiture provisions. There you go. All right. So they have to understand that. All right. So that's it. Just explain that to them. X. And you have the blue sunglasses. Good job. Next, alcohol use questionnaire. Let's open that one up. All right. So questionnaires are easy. All you do is fill in the blanks. So all the questionnaires, just make sure that they are fully completed, okay? Because if you don't, hit X, see, look, now it has blue sunglasses. You could enter it in with no details and it'll still go through. Don't do that, okay? Make sure, open it up, make sure that you fill everything out. Why? Because then later on, home office, the underwriting department has to go back to you and say, hey, you said he had an alcohol issue and you didn't give any details, and that slows underwriting. All right. And it makes you look unprofessional. You have to go back, call the client. Any reason that you have to go back and call the client for more details on stuff that should have been on the application loses credibility with the client. Okay. And so You want to make sure that you're doing everything right, okay? Don't mess up. Fill out every questionnaire fully. You should be fine. Have you ever been charged with driving while intoxicated and impaired? Yes. If yes, how many? Once. Driver's license number, F, whatever. There you go. See, it auto-populated for you. Dates of arrest were June of 2012. Currently drink? No, because I learned my lesson and I quit drinking. If no longer drinking, date of last drink, it was June 15, 2012. Did you drink almost daily? 1 to 2 times a week, 1 to 2 times a month, less often than above, less often than above. Approximately how many drinks in one day? 1. Have you ever received treatment for alcohol use? Okay. Received treatment? No. Been a member of AA? Yes. If yes to A above, date or dates of treatment. So if they did receive treatment, you got to include the dates, the facility where treated, and where you can find inpatient or outpatient. Okay. If so, how long? You have to furnish all details. Okay. And of course, this just says if yes to A above, which we said no. So just fill in the blanks. Okay. If yes to A or B above, since we did say yes to B, was this voluntary or court ordered? Court ordered. There you go. Court told me to, so I had to do it. Do you currently attend AA meetings? No. Why did you have treatment or join AA? Court ordered. Have you ever used street drugs or abused prescription drugs? No. And remember, if yes, complete drug questionnaire also. If yes, you'd have to go back into, well, we're done with this one now. But if you say yes, if they did use drugs, you have to make sure that when you go back to super combo that drug question is answered. Question 19. That's what it's asking. We said no. So you got to remain consistent. If it's really yes, you got to come back here, click yes, revalidate, make the form pop up, and then fill out the drug questionnaire. Okay? So you'll see that here, the tree kind of collapses and expands. Here's the little plus sign. Expand, collapse, expand, collapse, expand. All right, cool. So just so that you know, and you're not wondering, oh, where did it go? All right, so we just finished the alcohol use questionnaire. Again, if they have alcohol treatment and abuse prescription drugs, they have to be clean and dry from both for at least 5 years. All right, next, arthritis questionnaire. Look at that one. Elizabeth. All right, so type of arthritis, osteo, rheumatoid, degenerative, okay? Just for funsies, you probably won't be doing this in the application, but if you actually go into underwriting field manual and look up arthritis, osteodegenerative disease, arthritis rheumatoid here, and it tells you, okay, arthritis, systemic inflammatory disease, so it tells you what that thing is. Treatment includes physical therapy, surgery, aspirin, and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medications, etc., gold compounds, etc. So, information needed. Agent should always complete an arthritis questionnaire, which is what we're doing now. An APS is always required, so that's an attending physician statement. Okay. Information needed is the degree of impairment, which joints are involved, and the type of medication prescribed. Standard issue can be considered for those cases with minimal joint involvement and no significant systemic complications. Good. Mild to moderate cases usually range from T2 to T8. So for ratings, okay, meaning they could get approved, but it'll be charged more. Severe cases are usually a high rating from T10 and up and uninsurable if it's a severe case of arthritis. Especially if it's disabling, okay, uninsurable. So let's say she has rheumatoid arthritis, interference with daily activities, none, she's fine, or slight severe disabled. Which joints are affected? Okay, hands, yeah. Medications, just, you could say here, medication is just ibuprofen. 25 milligrams 3 times a week. All right. So try to be as precise as possible. Name and address of doctor with great records, Dr. Awesome, and he was on, 321 Doctor Street. Just type in his info. And then additional comments under control, stable. There you go. No big deal. See, just make sure that it's all filled out completely though, okay? Next. Diabetic questionnaire. Same thing. Again, once you've seen one questionnaire, you've seen them all. So here's a very common one. Diabetes. You'll see that one often, and high blood pressure. Date diabetes was diagnosed. Let's say it was also June of 2012. Is it insulin? If so, dosage. Oral medication. Name and dosage, okay? Oral medication, metformin, 25 milligrams once, one per day. Name and address of the doctor who currently treats your diabetes, okay? There you go. It's, yeah. Dr. Awesome. Excuse me. 321 Dr. Street. Phone number. There it is. So just fill it all out. How long have you been under the above doctor's care? 8 years. How often do you see him? Every 6 months. Now, typically, just so you know, okay, anyone with insulin-dependent diabetes typically sees their doctor every 3 to 4 months, okay? Insulin-dependent diabetes typically sees their doctor every 3 to 4 months, so that's important, okay? If they see the doctor less than that, then that's kind of a red flag. All right. What was your last blood sugar reading? It's a number, okay? Let's say it was 110, okay? Now, diabetics typically know what their blood sugar reading is. However, you cannot accept an answer that says normal. You can't type in normal, okay? This right here, okay? No, you can't say normal. You can't say good. It's a number, okay? So make sure that you ask them specifically what's that number. Now, diabetics, they do the pinprick thing, or usually they know, or just give me what was your last doctor's visit's blood sugar reading. Just the last, doctor visit. What's on average? What is it usually? Okay? Where are you at? That's what we're asking, okay? Last blood sugar reading, we're going to say it's 110. And then date of last visit, January of this year. Have you ever been hospitalized for diabetes? No. Remember, if someone has been hospitalized for something, we typically want at least 1 year of stability since the hospitalization. Because if you're hospitalized for something, that means it's not under control. Okay? And that's like uninsurable. If something's not under control, you can't get insured, okay? You're probably going to go back in the hospital again, all right? So we want to make sure that people, get this right. All right, cool. So have you ever been hospitalized for your diabetes? No. If so, when and where, provide all details, okay? And then additional remarks, including names of doctors seen prior to the doctor listed above, okay? Under control, stable. I like to add that in there because I like to add resolution. I like to make it, if they are okay, I want to make it look as okay as possible for the underwriting department to not need to worry about it. They just look at it and they're like, okay, cool, we can jet issue this policy, okay? Jet issue means that when a policy goes to underwriting, first it goes to a junior underwriter. They just want to look to make sure that all information is there and we can make a decision based on what you gave us. However, if we see something complicated or we see missing information, then they can't just jet issue the policy. No, now we got to take it to a senior underwriter, which will then go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. We're going to put up all medical records. We're going to go through everything, all their medications, everything. So what you want to do is to furnish all details here so that they don't have to do that, because that slows down underwriting and it makes it more nitpicky, right? However, they're free to do that as much as they want. It's the company's, prerogative to be able to ensure whoever they're willing to accept the risk for. Okay, but that's why I include under control, stable. It adds resolution and it shows this person's not dying, they're fine. Okay, of course, only write that if it's true. So that's diabetic questionnaire. That's a questionnaire. Just fill it all out. Just fill out everything. Next. Driver's license questionnaire. Oh, yeah, because of the DUI. Well, then let's go. That's Jack Sparrow. Name shown on license, Jack Sparrow. If you do not have a license, please answer the following questions. Have you ever been a licensed driver? Well, He does currently have a license, so I don't need to answer this, okay? If no, give reason and why below. If you've never been, if somebody has never been a licensed driver, like say if you don't even type in a driver's license number in there, this questionnaire will still pop up if somebody does not have a driver's license. And then it's asking, oh, well, why do you not have a driver's license? And so if this person just doesn't drive, oh, I just never got my driver's license because I just don't drive. You can just write that in here. You know, doesn't drive, takes public transportation. You know, but let's say in this case, Jack does drive and he has never had his license. What is it? He does have his license right now. Okay. So if you do not have a license, please answer, have you ever been licensed? Yeah. Yeah, but he does have a license. So if no, give reason why below. If yes, please answer the following questions, sign below. Has your driver's license ever been suspended? Yes. If yes, why? Include date of violations. DUI 06 of 2012. I can say that because I already provided the details of that DUI at the DUI questionnaire. If no, why do you currently not have a license? He does. Has your driver's license ever been suspended or revoked or not obtained because of alcohol-related problems? Yes. Details, DUI, 06, 12, same thing. Has your driver's license ever been suspended, revoked, or not obtained because of health problems? No. If license suspended for a reason other than alcohol or health-related, please give reason for suspension below. Okay? All right, and that's it. There you go. Next. Electronic application disclosure. What this question does, there's nothing for you to do here. You want to kind of paraphrase it, they'll like explain it to them. What this is doing is it's recognizing that even though this is an electronic application, their electronic signature will count as a real signature. That's what we're saying here. So you are able to go ahead and just tell them, hey, you know, at this screen, just let them know, make sure they understand this is a real application, and your electronic signature here will be a real signature. Okay? We're not signatures yet. Obviously, it doesn't let me do that, but you just let them know so that they understand, oh, okay, electronic signature. So it counts for realsies. Okay? And the next is X. Next, high blood pressure questionnaire. That's another very common one. For Elizabeth, date diagnosed, let's say it was also June 15th, 2012. There you go. Do you take medication? Yes. If yes, names, lisinopril. Just ask to look at the bottles. Like, have them whip out all their medications and just, you know, make sure that they're indicated in the appropriate questionnaires, okay? You got to make sure that we have all of their medications, okay, and all of their medical history stuff. Lisinopril, dosage, 25 milligrams. Frequency, 1 per day. Name and address of doctor with current medical records of blood pressure, Dr. Awesome, 321 Dr. Street. Just fill it out. There you go. Date of last visit was January of this year. See, sometimes it asks for the date itself. Sometimes just for the ask for the month and year. Reading. Again, here, reading. It is a number. Okay? It is a number on top of another number, okay? So something normal is like 120 over 70, okay? So that would be stable. That's normal, okay? They can't say good. They can't say normal, okay? You cannot type that stuff in there. You got to make sure. If they say, oh, you know, it's not, it's normal, then just press for the answer, okay? Just say, okay, well, I need the actual reading, all right? So when you go to the CVS or the mall and you see that little machine with the armhole in it for you to check the blood pressure, what are the numbers on that thing, okay? And they can tell you, all right? Typically people with blood pressure or cholesterol or diabetes, they measure themselves, you know? Sometimes people have these measuring things at home, all right? Just get an answer, okay? Or the most recent answer when they saw their doctor last. Is blood pressure under control? Yes. Have you ever been hospitalized due to your blood pressure? Again, no bueno if they did, okay? Have you ever been hospitalized due to your blood pressure? No. Additional remarks, under control. Always just under control, comma, stable. There you go. Awesome. And there you go. Again, once you've seen one questionnaire, you've pretty much seen them all. Just fill in the blanks, but make sure they're completely filled in. Don't miss anything. All right, we're making our way through. HIPAA. HIPAA, that is the authorization for release of health-related information. So on here, there isn't a, there's nothing you need to do here. It already pre-populates with all their names and dates of birth, but you must tell them we're going to go into their medical records, okay? Because they're going to be signing for permission to do so. You gotta, okay? That is a condition of being able to apply for life insurance, okay? Now, when you are in this form, okay, this HIPAA, you need this electronic HIPAA, and you also need a paper hard copy signed HIPAA. Now, the signed HIPAA depends on their hospital, okay? And so, your mentor, when they give this to you, they're going to be able to show you that in here, we've got the HIPAAs for all of the main big hospitals and insurance companies, okay, here in the San Diego area, the most common ones, okay? And so here, we've got, this is an example of Kaiser, right? See Kaiser, and then all the different Kaiser locations in the area. So you have it with you. So if the client says, oh, I have Kaiser, you could just find, okay, well, which one? And then that's what you could type in here when it's asked, you know, what hospital, who's their physician. Just type in the Kaiser stuff, okay? Because a lot of Kaiser people, it's just whatever physician's on call. You just type in the name, address, and phone number here, okay? So you have Kaiser. On the other side of Kaiser, we have the Kaiser authorization form, okay? And so ask your mentor with how to fill this out specifically, because not only do you need to get this electronic HIPAA signed, you have to get the Kaiser HIPAA signed. We have provided for you in here, inside the sleeves, many copies of each HIPAA, okay? So we have Kaiser, all the Kaiser locations. On the other side, Kaiser HIPAA. Get them to sign that. Fill it out, sign it completely, date it. Next, we've got, what is this? Scripts. So the scripts and then all the different scripts locations. And then on the other side, you got the scripts HIPAA. Have them fill it out. You got several copies here in the inside the sleeve. Fill it out completely. Okay, ask your mentor to show you how to fill it out completely. And then sign it. And you have plenty of copies in there, okay? Take it, keep it. You need to turn that into us, okay? Have them sign it, the electronic one and the paper one. Next, we have sharp locations, okay? Sharp, and then the sharp form. Got to get that signed, okay? Next, we have military facilities, okay? And then the military form from the Department of Veterans Affairs. Come on. Good enough. All right. Then next, we have other general medical centers, okay? Just other general ones, like the corner clinic or whatever. We have a bunch of them here in San Diego. And then we have a general HIPAA. This general HIPAA, you would just use that one if they don't have Kaiser, Sharp, Scripps, or any of the other ones that you have in here. So if they have any other one, this is your other, the general one. It's on the other side of the medical centers one. It doesn't have any name on top. It doesn't have any hospital or insurance on top, okay? So it's not in there. So that's the general one. So if they don't have any other, if they don't use Kaiser, Sharp, Scripps, any of these other ones, fill this one out because you still need a hard signed copy of it, okay? So just get the general one. It says really not much up there. But yeah. Fill it out completely, have them sign it, bring it back here to the office. Next, so we got UC San Diego, UCSD Health, HIPAA. We also have Family Health Centers of San Diego. That's another big one. A lot of our clients have that, all the locations for that and the HIPAA for that, okay? And then that's pretty much it for this. So in here, you have your mandatory read-off letter. Okay, so now while we're on this, basically when you get to this page of the HIPAA, that's your cue to go find the correct HIPAA for them to sign and date. Okay, fill out and sign it. Okay, that's what this book is for. It's mostly full of a bunch of HIPAAs. Okay, now another thing before I move on, I might as well just go over this real quick. Okay, what's in it is you have in this is your sales Bible. Okay, you have here the mandatory read-off letter. You read this if it's a client that is not union. Okay, because unions have their own mandatory read-off letter. So if it's not union, you read this one. So referral, child safe, read this one. Okay, discount card, read it. That's the mandatory read-off letter you use for them. Inside, we have a few sample mandatory read-off letters from different unions. Here's the UDW union. Here is the one of the branches of the Teamsters union. So these are mandatory read-off letters that you would read if they are a union member. You find their right union one with their own union letterhead on it. This is with the OPEIU. They all say basically the same thing. You read the correct one, okay? So we have a few sample union letters in here. So if you're doing a union presentation, you read their union letter to them in the mandatory read-off letter part. So that's part of the sales Bible. Next, we have San Diego zip codes, okay? So as you're collecting referrals, you've got all the zip codes of San Diego County here. You don't need to memorize it. Just have this open while you're typing in the referrals and just copy down what the zip codes are, okay? So that's important. That way, if somebody is out of your area, okay, when you're collecting referrals, then make sure you click the out of area button and make sure you write zip codes for everybody. That way, it can be assigned to the correct agent that's working that area. And in turn, you can receive leads, referrals that other agents have collected that are in your area but not theirs, okay? This is how we help each other out. If there is no zip code, the lead disappears, okay? All right, if you hit out of area and there's no zip code, we can't track that one. Gone now. Gone. So that's why we have these. So you got San Diego area zip code. And on the other side of that, we have the zip code map. Map. So just in case that they don't know the name of the area that their friend lives in, just be like, okay, great, point. Just point. Okay, right there, that's 92123. Cheers, Hannah. All right, next, we have the height average physical measurements of children. We saw that. We used it today in filling out the application. On the other side of that, the routing numbers, okay? We saw that, the different banks. And then this is where we start with the HIPAAs. There's Kaiser, the Kaiser locations, Kaiser HIPAA, Scripps locations, Scripps HIPAA, Sharp locations, Sharp HIPAA, military facilities, military HIPAA, medical centers, general HIPAA, UCSD medical center, UCSD HIPAA, family health centers HIPAA. This last form right here, okay, says additional policy application information. It's just blank as agent name, applicant's name. This is if you don't use this form all the time, it's just blank and then they just sign at the bottom, okay? What it does is that if this person has complicated health issues, all right, if they have a lot of complicated health issues, like they're in and out of the hospital a lot, they have a lot of medications, and there's a possibility that home office might need to request further info on them, then basically I just have the client sign this, put my name, their name, and then have them sign and date it, okay? And then if home office says, hey, we need more information on this hospitalization, then you could just call the client and then write it down on the sheet that you have that they signed, okay? And then we could just fax that without you needing to revisit the client, okay? That way you already have one of these that's signed, okay? So home office, they understand how we work that. And so that's just to be able to add to the policy. And of course, anything that they're telling you over the phone, you know, it is true to the best of their knowledge and belief, okay? And so that's important to understand. And yeah, so basically that's how you do that. And that's only for people that have like really complicated health issues, in and out of the hospital, etc. Okay? So I don't really typically do that with everybody, but with, complicated health issues. And then there's your flash sheet, underwriting flash sheet, height weight chart. There you go. All right, let's keep going. All right, so here when you reach the HIPAA, health-related information, that's your cue to go find the right HIPAA for them and have them physically sign it and then put that in your laptop bag, okay? There's nothing else that you need to do here on the screen. Move forward. So that's HIPAA. HIV consent. That's telling you that you need to do an oral specimen on someone. So HIV consent, oral specimen, those go hand in hand, okay? The reason why they're not together is because this is all in alphabetical order. But yeah, HIV consent, oral specimen. I encourage you to please watch the video on the oral specimen. It's a training video on how to take the swab, okay? So it's very important. It's in this lesson, and watch that, okay? It's very short compared to these, right? And so HIV consent, open that one up. It says notice and consent for AIDS-related blood and or oral fluid testing. Like I said before, the oral swab checks for nicotine use, drugs, certain drugs, and HIV. So if we go down here, okay, it says physician for reporting a possible positive test result. So if we find out through this test that you do have HIV, who would you like us to tell? All right, Dr. Austin. So now, it does auto-populate. You can leave it there like that if you wanted to, or if you wanted to be OCD, just fill that in. There we go. Just make sure that we have a correct doctor info, okay? Next, I saw description. Oh yeah, it's asking, for anyone not seen, please provide details below. William, reason why applicant was not seen. Oh, well, why did you not see little William? Was at grandma's house. Okay, so make sure that this is correct, because sometimes you might forget to click that you saw them on page 1. So let's take a look at that. Super combo, page 1. That's this right here. I saw. We said that we did not see little William. That's why I asked us, why did you not see William? Okay, we checked that we saw everyone else. And so make sure that if on that I saw questionnaire it says, Jack or Elizabeth, that means you got to go back here and check it. Check that you did see them and then revalidate it, okay? Every time you make a change anywhere on this application, you got to revalidate it so it can refresh, okay? And then the I saw questionnaire would be fine. So there you go. So just make sure, like if you see Elizabeth or Jack there, then X out of it, go back to page 1, check that you saw them, revalidate, and then come back here, okay? So he was at grandma's house. Next, medical information. All right. So this question popped up, medical information. You can check this out. Look, so it says it's for Jack. And this is a general medical information question. This popped up. It's not asking about any specific illness, is it? No, it's not. Date, hospital, how long, physician. So this is for all those others, okay? This is for anything for any illness that they have that doesn't have its own questionnaire. This is that other, okay? How did this pop up? Let me show you. X out of it, super combo. This popped up because I said yes to this question. Had any medical treatment, okay? That's general. That's not asking about any particular illness. And I said yes to this because Jack has high cholesterol. There was no high cholesterol question. In fact, actually, here, diabetes or other endocrine disorder, cholesterol is an endocrine disorder. In fact, if you actually click on other endocrine disorder, that still makes the same form pop up. it still makes this same form come up. If I just clicked other endocrine disorder, okay? It makes this same form pop up. So that's like the other form. If I clicked, like I was showing here, mental disease or other, if I had said yes, this other column right here, then that also makes that form pop up, okay? So you say no. If I had clicked yes to, other circulatory disorder, that's other. Basically anything that doesn't have its own questionnaire. So all these others, okay, then those are what make this questionnaire pop up. That is there so you can then fully furnish all the details, okay? So since there was no specific, like, it said, high cholesterol or whatever, this, since he had high cholesterol, I got to put it somewhere. There's no high cholesterol questionnaire. There isn't one, so I got to put it here, okay? So I just want to make sure that you understand that. This popped up because if you had clicked on any of those others or this one right here, any medical treatment, that is what made that one, this questionnaire pop up, okay? So, explanation or medication. You must furnish all details as detailed as possible, okay? So, explanation or medication. High cholesterol, okay? Takes simvastatin. Statins are for high cholesterol, okay? High cholesterol takes simvastatins, 15 milligrams per day, under control, stable, no pain problems, medications. Pain problems or other medications. There you go. Again, resolution. You want to provide resolution so that they feel safe, they feel okay. Okay, this guy's fine. So I can't just write, high cholesterol and then leave it there. They're going to be like, is he okay? Is it under control? Is he in and out of the hospital? Is he completely messed up? This will cause underwriting issues. It'll come back and it'll slow down the whole underwriting process. It's bad, okay? So you must fully furnish all details, okay? So if you had gallbladder removal, okay? Gallbladder removal. You can't just leave it at that, okay? You got to fully furnish all details. Why? Because an insurance company has to assume the worst, okay? If you just write gallbladder removal and then nothing else, they're now wondering, did it turn out okay? Did it get infected? Is he all right? Is he still alive and breathing? Did it turn out horribly? What's going on? They have to assume the worst unless you give them resolution, okay? And so gallbladder removal and, obviously the date, hospital, how long, physician, and, fully recovered, no pain, problems, or medications since. There you go, gallbladder removal, and then you'd obviously fill this other stuff out, but I'm just gonna take that out. All right, so this is important, okay? Let me show you an example of why that's important. Let me go to underwriting field manual. And for example, let's say, I don't know, spinal disorder. Okay, so agent should always fully complete, I'm just using backtrack questionnaire as an example. A decision can usually be made by an application. Example, an agent can cause an unnecessary exclusion rider by not furnishing details, okay? So you could cause issues because you didn't provide details. An example is an answer such as back trouble, back pain, or hurt back. In the absence of additional details, this answer causes a rider. An example of complete details is pulled muscle in back in January 3rd, 1998, treated with muscle relaxant and rest, lost 2 days from work, but no problem since January. With this description, no rider is necessary. So see, you need to furnish all details as much as possible because remember, they have to assume the worst. So make sure it's fully furnished in there. You do not need to fill out this information on something that you already filled out a questionnaire for. So don't go back and then do high blood pressure for him. Or he had diabetes, didn't he? Yeah, he had diabetes. Don't write that stuff in here. I mean, it just makes it redundant. It's unnecessary. If it's already in a questionnaire somewhere else, then you're good. You do not need to add that in here. okay? This is just for that other stuff. If there is no questionnaire for it, that's what this one's for. All right. In fact, this that last question, this one too, if you said yes to this one, to the best of your knowledge and belief, do you have any physical impairment or departure from good health? If you said yes to that one also makes that questionnaire pops up. So that's the other. All right, so let's fill it out. Date. High cholesterol, let's just say June 2012. Hospital, no. How long? Not applicable. Physician. It makes me think that the Dr. Street one, that's probably the wrong address, isn't it, that I gave for the doctor? Oh, it's 123 Dr. Street. Whatever. I've been typing 321 this whole time, so I'm just going to make it 321. There you go. Validate again. Got to validate every time you make an adjustment. Cool. All right, let's keep going. Oral specimen. Watch the video on it. Every oral specimen has its own little kit number, and it's saying that Elizabeth needs to do an oral specimen. Remember when I was telling you that on the underwriting flash sheet, let me show it to you, the height weight chart tells you the 3 conditions when an oral specimen is needed. You don't have to memorize any of that. Why? Because eApp knows and it'll tell you. And so how does it tell you? This is how it's telling you. It's telling you Elizabeth needs an oral specimen. There you go. So if it tells you to do it, you do it. Watch the video on how to do it, okay? Enter kit number. It's just a number that's about as long as a phone number. That way, the kit that you do the oral swab with, the number on there can be connected to the application here, and you can connect the two. All right. Let's keep going. Payer information. So it's asking who's the payer. It'll automatically make it Jack Sparrow, the primary insured. But if it's going to be somebody else like grandma or something, remember, she has to be there. And you got to clear this, right-click clear, right-click clear, and put in her information. Because she needs to be there and she needs to sign for it, okay? Let's keep going. We're just going to keep it Jack. Replacement. Remember how I said it's going to ask us like 4 times on this whole thing, are you replacing? We got to say no every time. So replacement form here. One for him, one for her. It just wants to make sure you're not replacing. So replacement. Open it. This one was for Elizabeth. So here, at the very top, it says, I do or do not have existing individual life insurance policies or contracts, annuities. So I do or do not. Now, this couple here did. They had a $100,000 term existing somewhere else with MetLife or AAA or whatever. So they already did, okay? Now, it says this does not include group coverage you may have. So if they only have it through work, doesn't count. You just say, I do not. And if you do not, sign below and you're done. And then just get out of here and you're done with this. If they do not, then you just X out of it. You're done with this form, okay? But if they do, you got to keep going, okay? If they do have existing policies somewhere else, again, not including work insurance, not including group coverage, okay? If they do have any individual, like it said, individual life insurance policies or annuity contracts, okay? Then you have to say, I do have it. In this case, Jack and Elizabeth did. They have their own existing term somewhere else with MetLife or AAA. And now you got to keep going. Now, you have these 2 questions down here. It's asking in 2 different ways, are you replacing? Okay? So these answers always have to be no and no. Always. Okay? If they do have current existing insurance somewhere else, you are not replacing. No and no. Always. Okay? So it's saying, 1, are you considering discontinuing making premium payments, surrendering, forfeiting, assigning to the insurer, or otherwise terminating your existing policy or contract? No. And then are you considering using funds from your existing policies or contracts to pay premiums due on the new policy or contract? No. Always no. Okay? And there you go. So if they do have existing insurance, then you click no and no. And because you said no, then you don't have to worry about anything else down here because it's no. All right? But if they don't have existing insurance, you just click do not have, and then you're done here. Okay? So remember that. Like, review that if you need to. So I do have existing life insurance, and then no and no. Okay? So that was Elizabeth, and then let's do his now. This is Jack's. So he does have existing insurance. No and no, and there you go. Like, you almost like don't even have to ask them. You already know it's not going to be a replacement. Next, respiratory. Oh, yeah. Somebody had asthma, right? Isabel. Respiratory questionnaire. Isabel. So circle one of the above. Asthma. Date diagnosed. June. When is she born? 2014 or something? 2016. June 2016. Do you take medication daily? No. Only when you have a problem? Yes. List all medications. The puffy thing is called albuterol. Albuterol. That's a common one. Dosage 1 pump. Frequency as needed. You can use this for like asthma and stuff, but typically like asthma or like say like I said the ibuprofen, like sometimes it might be as needed, but if there is a specific dosage, be as specific as possible. Okay. Don't be using this for their diabetes medications. Don't be using that for their high blood pressure. Those have specific things. Very rarely will you ever use as needed. In fact, try not to use as needed. But this asthma, it's only like when she has attacks or something. So that's not, there's not a specified, unless they do have a specified prescription for the frequency. Name and address of treating doctor. Doctor, awesome. Date of last attack or episode. Let's say it's, every springtime. So let's say March of 2017. 2018. 17. How often do you have problems or attacks? Daily, weekly, monthly, less than monthly, or seasonal? Seasonal. Have you ever been hospitalized for this? No. If yes, how many days were you hospitalized? When? Have you ever received treatment in an emergency room? No. If yes, when? Name and address of facility. And then have you smoked cigarettes in the last year? Hopefully not. She's a little girl, so no. Great, you're almost done. Good job. You're making it. And then last but not least, here we see secondary addressee right there. So this says, under the insurance regulations in your state, you have the option to designate an additional person to receive notice should your life insurance policy be in danger of lapsing due to non-payment of premium. If you wish to designate an additional person to receive cancellation notice, please provide us with the following information. It's a good idea to do this. So yes, it's optional, but I try to get it from everybody, okay? So just in case, if your policy is about to lapse and we can't get a hold of you, who do we contact, okay? They're Mama Sparrow, okay? Also known as Grandma. So it's like Jack's mom. And she's at, 987 Mom Street. That's where all the moms are, right? San Diego, California, 92114. Type in your phone number, okay? And there you go. So I would say just always get a secondary addressee. It's a good idea. It's for their own good. All right. Great. Now check it out. Now you have all blue sunglasses. Good job. Now what you want to do, okay, let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. So we just did bank draft, 4th of August, okay, fill out page 2. We just did all this, bank information. Be sure to complete doctor's information for all insured. So it says doctor info up here, child's doctor info over here. Children's pediatrician's information can go in the remarks instruction section. If they have a medical records ID, they may have an extra addendum that needs to be added or manually completed, signed and turned in. Yeah, medical records ID. Like I told you, that's these additional addendums. Check that out. Kaiser, Scripps, Sharp. So we already know that. Validate. Once the entire application is completed, then validate to check for errors or missing information. We did that. After you validate, correct the errors, and then revalidate until there are no errors. Close the application and proceed to the addendums. Those are the questionnaires. Do not close the sale. So it says there are 3 errors on this form. Those are the errors. Click to find errors. See, they're here at the bottom. Warning, this red X. Don't confuse this red X with all these other red X's. This one up here where it's like next to training mode. Warning, this closes the sale. Don't click that one. That's showing you up here. This one up here. All right. that closes the sale. All right, let's go back. Eyeglasses, open each form, complete and validate. Do not leave any question blank because it may be rejected by our quality control or require a return visit from home office. Be sure to check all pages, all of them. See, some of them can have much fewer forms. When each document is complete, it will be noted with eyeglasses next to the document. Oral specimen. When an oral specimen form is populated, complete the oral specimen and enter the kit number on the addendum. You may need one from each insured. So you might need one from the husband and the wife, or just one or the other. Oral specimen. Okay, so here, this is what the form looks like. You're going to be filling that out with them as they take the oral specimen. And so it says requirements for an oral specimen and HIV consent form. It's those three conditions like I said before. And you don't have to have them memorized because eApp will tell you. 1, any non-tobacco user policy. 2, any $100,000 or more of insurance liability. Do not count accident. So $100,000 or more of of term and whole life. 3, any $25,000 or more of insurance liability if no dependents. Do not count accident insurance. So if applicable. So because XYZ health issue, give reason from options listed above, there will be an oral specimen required along with an HIV consent form that ensures the results are sent to you at home privately in case of a positive HIV result. In our cases here in California, they'll be sent to whatever doctor that they designated. In addition to checking for nicotine use, this quick specimen also checks for various health issues as well as drugs, both legal and illegal. Notes, they need to know why you're giving them one and what it tests for, okay? So watch the oral specimen training video, all right? And so there's the form. Kit number for the addendum. There's the kit number at the top. In fact, it's on here a bunch of times. See, look, it's down there too. And look, it's actually in every single time there's a barcode. There's a number, so you can't miss it. It's on there like, what is that, 7 times? All right, HIV consent form. It looks different for us in California. We just saw it. Our HIV consent form looks like this. Typed in Dr. Awesome. It's 3 to 1 now. There you go. All right. I saw it. There are no errors on the form. Okay. Any child not physically seen by the agent must have a reason why listed on the I saw form. All adults must be seen by the agent. Okay, so was that soccer practice at school, whatever. All right, cool. When all the forms are validated and have eyeglasses, then choose next. This will seal all the forms from edits and allow applicants to sign. The only way to edit the documents will be to unlock this button, removing the signatures. This must be done and confirmed with the applicant present. They must re-sign all documents after unlocking and resealing. So now we're gonna go ahead and do that. So now that we have all blue sunglasses, see there's the next button and there's unlock. It's already unlocked, but by hitting next, you're gonna lock it now, okay? Locking it prepares it for signatures. So now that we have all blue sunglasses, you're good to go. Hit next. It's thinking, so it takes a while, and especially this one has a lot of forms, so it will take longer. So you just want to build rapport with the client as you're doing that. Remember, they're not seeing any of this anyway. They're not seeing all these details. You're just having it, you're just filling it out yourself, and you're just talking to them about anything. Great. So now that we see it stopped having its little heart attack and flickering, now you see some of them have green check marks. Good, you're on the right path. When the documents are sealed, you will notice green check marks next to a few documents. These are completed documents and do not need signatures. The other forms must be reopened and signed by all insureds and the agent, okay? The insured must type their full name into the computer. The agent or spouse cannot do it for the insured, okay? So when, I'm gonna show you how we type in their names, but the client has to type in their own name. Their spouse can't do it. The agent, you can't sign for them. This is considered the same as forgery. When each form is completed, revalidate to confirm all signatures are completed. On the forms that require you to apply signature, the agent can apply the signature prior to validating the form, okay? So I'll show you where it's apply signature. So now let's go ahead and get their signatures. So how do you do that? Start from the top, okay? So we're trying to turn all the blue sunglasses now into green check marks, okay? So start from the top. Super combo, click it open. All right, and now we can see pages 1 and page 2 are locked. See, I cannot make changes now. That means it's ready for a signature, okay? So page 1, page 2, you cannot make changes, okay? And it's indicating all the places you need to do signatures. So if, so I'm exiting that right now. If you do need to unlock it because you made a mistake or something, then this is how you do it. Hit back. And then you have to click unlock. If you unlock this application package, you will have to re-sign all documents. Do you wish to unlock this application package? Please re-enter the confirmation code in the verification box. So they're really serious about you not messing with people's insurance. So they want to make sure, hey, are you not, like, you're not, they want to make sure you're not making changes to something after they've already signed it and agreed to it, okay? So BTPHS, click OK. Are you with the applicant? So enter unlock reason, misspelled name. Are you with the applicant? You have to be with the applicant. Okay, it said so here. Yeah. Other forms must be reopened and signed. It's probably on another. Yeah, this must be done and confirmed with the applicant present. Okay. All right. Misspelled name. Are you with the applicant? Yes. Okay. And now it's unlocking it. See that? It's like flickering. It's having its own little heart attacks. So it's unlocking it. Now there's no more green check marks. You can make edits now. Does that make sense? All right. This was sister. Oops. Oh no, I changed it. No. All right, cool. Let's just keep it all. Validate. Just always validate. Cool. Next. Now hit next again. And now it's relocking it. Okay, so I just wanted to show you how you're able to unlock it and relock it if you needed to. All right. Again, you're just building rapport while this is going. All right, you got it. So now, again, we're starting from the top, and we're going to give them all green check marks by applying signatures. All right, so now let's just start on page 1. Scroll down and then look for all the signatures. So it tells you down here all the signatures that are required. See that? So you can either just click on them and it'll take you there, or you can just look for the red X, okay? You only need signatures where there's a red X, okay? If there is no red X there, you do not need a signature there, okay? So only where there's a red X. So signature of payer, click that. That's Jack Sparrow. Give him the laptop. He needs to type in his name, Jack Sparrow. You can't do that for him. His wife can't do that for him. He needs to do it. If you're dealing with a senior that doesn't know how to type, take a pen, point at each letter, and have them physically type their name. You cannot do it for them, okay? So you typed in Jack Sparrow, click sign, and look, there it is. That's his signature. And it is time stamped with the time and date, okay? All right. Now that's all the signatures on page 1. Let's go to page 2, scroll all the way down. Propose insured, that's Jack Sparrow again. Give it to him again. Make him type it in. And then it's there with the time and date. Now, notice underneath here, it says signature of owner. There's no red X there. You do not need him to sign that. Why? Because it says if other than proposed insured. But he is the proposed insured, so it's not other than proposed insured. Great. Next, here's a red X here for her, and there's a red X here for agent, and a red X here for agent again. That's you. Signature of spouse, if a proposed insured. So click there, give it to her. Elizabeth Sparrow. Have her sign. You give her the laptop, make her sign it, take it back. Signature of agent. Now you take the laptop, you sign. Agent, my name is Ileana Rosas. Now for eApp training, it thinks your name is eApp training. See, it says agent last name over here, train. Signature does not match application. Do you want to proceed? It thinks that your name is eApp training, so it's going to tell you that your signature does not match the application. That's fine. When you log into your real login, once you have your license and you have your own personal login, it'll know what your name is. Okay, so just in the eApp training, it's just going to give you this error. The signature does not match. Just say yes. You want to proceed, and there you are, Ileana Rosas. That's me. Signature. Signature of agent. Click there. Now that you already signed once, here, now you could just apply signature. And that's it. Bam. There you go. Now, check this out. You take the laptop, keep the laptop. Now you can apply the signatures to every other form now. They're done. Clients are done signing now. Now you take the laptop back. X out here. Now do the same thing for every single form here, and you apply the signature. Okay, so just like it says here, on the forms that require you to apply signature, the agent can apply the signature prior to validating the form. So check it out. Respiratory, here, scroll down, click here, apply signature. You as the agent, you're doing this now. So you took the laptop back. All right, and then now you're just gonna go down the line everywhere. Click the little blue X. You can also, instead of just clicking it, you can also hit the space bar button and it'll do it for you. And that way you just go down the line, you could go really quickly. So just go everywhere where there's a red X and just apply signatures to everything until everything has green check marks. All right. Now, like I mentioned before, this filling out the application, when there's a lot of health issues, it is longer than a regular application. So sometimes it may take you longer, shorter. Obviously, this video is long because I'm explaining a million things in here, but that's why you have to practice this, okay? Practice every single day. Practice doing 3 full applications every single day, because if you practice it every single day, you'll get faster and faster. You can fill out one of these forms in 12 minutes if you needed to, okay? Excuse me, or maybe less. It just goes with as fast as you can type, and sometimes people don't have any health issues. Then they don't have any of these forms. Right. So practice it. Practice, practice, practice filling these out. Great. Now that we have all green check marks, great. Almost done. Now I'm going to introduce you to the last paperwork of the application, okay? So now that you have all green check marks, let's keep going. When each form is properly assigned, a green check mark will be noted next to each document. Then hit next to proceed, okay? So we're going to hit next now. Next. This comes up. This is where we give them the conditional receipt. So let's pull that up. This screen says, shows here the insured, John Doe, Mary Doe, whole life non-smoker, she's a smoker. Shows the premium for him, premium for her, standard submit. That is where you can click to make it trial or keep it at standard, okay? So it'll have total premium, is the total premium of them together, minus trialed premium, okay? If you trialed one of them, equals the initial ACH withdrawal. So that is what the 139.12 is the number. It says, please write the following information on the conditional receipt. This is where you want to fill out the conditional receipt to give it to them. And why? Because whenever somebody makes payment, they must get a receipt, okay? So this is the page. It says no unconditional receipt. Cash with application, CWA, is $139.12. At this screen, you should fill out the conditional receipt. Leave that in the service folder. If necessary, you can trial an application on the screen. So let's go ahead and look at it for our example. Jack Sparrow and his wife. So here we see Jack's premium and her premium. When you click on it, you could do standard submit or trial without money, okay? And for her, standard submit or trial without money. notice what it does if I do trial without money. If you're trialing something, remember, we're not charging them for it. So now it's the $321.73 minus the trial premium, $67 if I'm trialing her, equals the initial ACH withdrawal, $254.73. So that's what I write on the conditional receipt, $254.73. So let's pull it out. It's in your folder on the right-hand side. In the very back, it looks like this, okay? It looks like this. Conditional receipt. It says it on the top. Sorry that it's blurry. Now, this is a very easy form to fill out. Why? Because it just has 4 blanks, and that's it. That's like, out of this whole thing, all you need to do is fill out this. It says received of, and then write the payer's name. Okay, so received of Jack Sparrow. The sum of $254 or whatever the premium is. Date and agent. That's it. Okay? And so that's how you fill out the conditional receipt. It's one of the easiest forms ever, but you have to do it, okay? And so, because you have to give them a receipt whenever you are accepting premium. However, if you're trialing someone, okay? If you're trialing somebody and they are not making any payment for that person, do not add that to the conditional receipt. If you're trialing everybody and you're not receiving any payment at all, we're not going to draft them, okay? Then you do not leave them a receipt. They only get a receipt if you make payment for something. All right. Let's keep going. So you would write that total amount that we're actually drafting them. So minus trial premium. But we're not going to trial her, so we're just going to do the full $321.73. Next. American Income Partners card, basic program benefits card, no cost. Click it. Click it so that they automatically get the, so here, checking the box will, the applicant will automatically receive their partner's card, the basic no-cost program. This should always be checked. Note, this will create a new lead when the card expires, creating future opportunities, okay? Next, summary sheet. So hit next, and here's the summary sheet. Now, this is when you, okay, it shows us what did they just apply for. Jack Sparrow, whole life, $25,000. Terminal illness rider, 20-year term for $20,000, $200,000, 10-year renewable term for the $172, children's term rider, 15-year decreasing term. So it has all of Jack's stuff there, okay? And then on the bottom it has Elizabeth's stuff there, her whole life, her terminal illness rider, and the 10-year renewable and convertible term, okay? So we have that. Perfect. Also, underneath it, you have the strike and layoff waivers premium, referral, your representative. Your name is obviously not eApp training. So all this stuff, what you do is now you take this information and you copy it down onto this. This is a hard summary sheet. So you copy it down, all right? Make this bigger. Final expenses, income, mortgage, college, children's education, and then additional benefits. So fill this out, all right? Just copy it from the screen, fill it out, write all their names, write the amounts, $25,000, $25,000 for their final expenses for his and hers, and then their income protection, $172 and then $120. Whatever the amounts are, just copy it from the screen, okay? So just fill it all out, and then the name, your name, the amount, 300 whatever dollars. And then at the bottom, it also says what I like best about the program. Does that question what I like best about the program? Give it to them, have them fill that part out with their own handwriting. Why do you think that might be a good idea? Because you're going to be leaving one of these with them. There's a pink back. There's 2 carbon copies here. So they keep the top one, the white one, and there's a yellow and a pink one. They keep the top one, put that in their folder so that in the future, if they are actually looking at this and they're like, oh, well, why did I buy this policy? And they see that what I like best about this program, when they see it in their own handwriting, they're like, oh, yeah, that's why I bought this. They resell themselves on it, okay? So if times get tough and they're looking to cut any bills, they see this, they're like, oh, yeah, this is one bill I'm not going to cut, okay? So that could be one of the most important steps in solidifying, okay? So make sure that you have that filled out. Okay, because you want to leave them a summary of what they just bought. Remember, a policy takes 6 to 8 weeks to come in the mail. So they want to have a copy of like a summary of what they just bought. leave them something. Next, where are we at? Yeah, so you fill this all out. If it pops up for you asking you for what the phone number is, this is the agency phone number, okay? 858-450-9919. The first time that you get to this point in your eApp training, it'll ask you what's the phone number. That's the phone number that you type it in. Then it won't ask you again. All right, next. Here's a sample of what a policy looks like. Okay. So here, we just went over the summary sheet. This should be used as a review with the clients. Do not give a full presentation, give a highlighted review. This should re-excite the client and remind them why they're applying for coverage. Make sure you note the type of insurance using to fund each benefit, okay? Because it shows in there, is it whole life or is it term life or is it accidental? Next, when the specimen policy appears, you should explain what the policy will look like when it is mailed to the applicant and instruct the applicant how to file the policies. So when you're at this point, when you get your policy in the mail, it looks like this, and then just tuck that thing right inside your folder so that you always have it to have and to hold and to cherish all the days of your life. All right, continue. All right, next. Yeah, so then it says, there's a pop-up. It says, make a final attempt at collecting referrals from sales at the end of every sale. This should be easy due to the needed value and excitement from buying a much-needed program. This is sometimes known as the golden referral due to the high value of this lead. So right now, I just got here, it says, there's a pop-up. It says, as you saw a need for our benefits today, there are people you know who could likewise benefit from our programs. Who do you feel would benefit the most? Hit continue, and it'll ask you for more referrals. There you go. These are the golden referral. Because the time when someone's the most excited about having bought something is right when they bought it. And so they're like, oh, man, this stuff is so awesome. Yeah, my mom needs this. Yeah, make sure you call her, type her in. That's a golden referral. They're excited. My sister needs this. My friend really needs this stuff. So it's the referrals that you get after they've seen the whole presentation. All right. So then it's going to keep moving forward. And then now the final remarks, okay? Final remarks. I'm just gonna read this out loud so that you understand. Basically, it's covering all your bases. In fact, you have this slide. I'm gonna have you read it in your own time. My voice is dying, but yeah. So basically, what this does is it covers all of the bases. Okay, read this out loud to them. You'll have all your bases covered. You have to tell them what's coming next, all right? So it says, one, you may receive a phone call to review the questions I've asked. It's just like a survey when you purchase a new car. New car should only take 45 minutes. They may ask for a nurse to come out and ask you some medical questions and either a blood or urine specimen. Is at no cost to you and at your convenience. I just tell them, oh, have fun with it. Like, oh, it's a free physical. Because they may need you to do a physical. They send someone out, nice person, it'll be fun. We'll be requesting medical records from your doctor. There's 3 possibilities. First, they could be issued as I outlined to you today. Second, they could be rated. So you're telling them right now, hey, you might get rated, all right, because of your diabetes or whatever. So you're telling them up front so that for whatever health issue, it might get issued as we outlined today or it might get rated, which is a risk classification based on the medical habits information. Or third, the policies may be declined. Please review all of this, okay? It's telling them the next steps. In approximately 6 to 8 weeks, a decision regarding the issuance of your policy should be made. You'll receive notice and or your policy in the mail, or I may deliver it to you. If you have any questions, call me. Keep going. Provide the conditional receipt. Good. Continue. All right. So just review all the final remarks. So at that point, at the final remarks, there's this final paperwork, okay? The what comes next form. It also walks them through what the next steps are, okay? What comes next form? Oh, I think I might have pulled it up. Oh, there we go. What comes next form looks like this. I think I have it. Yeah, there we go. So you can ask each member what's the best part of the program, then ask why, re-edify the need. Just get them to sell themselves on it. Oh, what did you like so much about the program? Why? Why is it so important to you? Good. They're selling themselves on it. Make sure you do for both family members when applicable, okay? And then there's also this thing right here called a report form. So union members, report form, say the organization, union, credit union, whatever, child safe referral, and then have them fill this out. There's like a little report card. Our PR department uses this to show how awesome we are to the unions so that they can say, oh, here's what your members are saying about our benefits. So have them fill this out. It's a little slip. It's in the folder. Have them fill it out and then take it with you. Was the representative courteous? Yes or no? I believe this program is of value. Yes or no? The best part of the program is this. Name, address, phone, rep name. That's you, representative. So little officer report form is just the last little thing. The what comes next form, okay? Here's what it says, okay? It's telling them the next steps, step by step, so that, again, you're not just a drive-by life insurance agent. So first, we'd like to commend you on taking the first steps necessary, making sure your family has the insurance it needs. So tomorrow, your premium of blank will be deducted. It may take up to 5 days. If it hasn't posted within 5 business days, please call us so we can make sure everything's okay. Next 7 days, you'll receive a call from home office to verify all the information on the application and to see if you have any questions. Next 6 to 8 weeks, your insurance application will be underwritten. So it gives them all the step-by-steps of everything. If for any reason your policy isn't issued as originally applied for, please look this up. Your agent will contact you to discuss any changes. And so now they understand every single step of the way. That's solidification, okay? Get them to sign, okay? Sign it. And then the final checklist, okay? So that's here. This is for you. If applied for, I have explained the terminal illness rider. I made sure the monthly premium is comfortable. I've reviewed the service folder. I've shown samples of what our policies will look like. I've explained that during the underwriting process, the following may happen. The proposed insured may receive a telephone call verifying the information. Proposed insured may receive an in-home physical at no cost. Proposed insured's doctor may be asked to provide information to the company about the insured's medical history. There's a possibility of being declined. Basically, all these here, you're not reading that to them. You're just checking them. But this is your personal checklist to make sure you did everything right. And I have discussed the career opportunities with American Income Life with the applicant. Check them all. Hit next. Almost done. So now it's packaging it. It's processing it, little green progress bar, okay? And then, oh yeah, this isn't bad. It says critical error, just shut down, whatever. It'll pick up where it left off, okay? So basically, it's packaging it, okay? And then once it completes, and it'll pop up here, and it'll ask you to back it up. So take a USB flash drive, okay? And so once it goes through, it asks you to back it up, okay? This also pops up when you hit the big X up here on the corner to exit out of the program every time. It'll ask you to back it up. You definitely need to back it up every single sale. You don't need to back up every presentation. Just back up every single sale for sure, okay? Just in case you step out of the house and you drop your laptop, okay? USB flash drive, stick it in there, find it in the directory, okay? So you can save it, all right? And I actually don't have one on here right now. Click back up now. I'm trying to back it up onto the desktop, so it says you're attempting to back up to the same device where your data currently exists. This will not protect you in the event your hardware fails or you drop your laptop. We suggest you back up to a removable device such as a USB flash drive. Do you wish to change your backup location? No. Backup completed successfully. Great. Just X. It'll ask you again. And then now you're done. All right? So that's it. You backed it up. Yep. It packages it up. Back up. Yeah, back up. Prior to closing eApp, always back up to an external source like a USB or SD card. And then eApp transmit applications. So now to transmit it when you're all done, it says use this option. So open up the eApp again, and then you click transmit applications. That's that top button. Use this option to transmit sales to your local office for review. This should be done daily. You must be connected to the internet. And that's it. All right. So my friends, that's the whole presentation. And so just, again, if I could show you here, the eApp, how you transmit it, you open up eApp again, all right? Open that up, and then that's this button, transmit applications. There you go. Okay? So that's how you transmit. You have to be connected to the internet to do that, okay? So every single night when you get home from work, transmit everything and update everything, okay? And so that's the whole presentation. Practice this every single day. practice it with at least three different apps every day. Mess around with it. Get really good at it, because this is how you make money, okay? And you don't want to mess up on the underwriting. So make sure that you understand the underwriting field manual, flash sheet, etc. Okay. Good job. Great. This was a long one, but yeah. So that's all that you need to. Basically everything you need to do to know the application. All right. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.